truth, justice, and the Big Sil's way. As we always do, we start the program off with Big Sills. How you doing, everyone? Hopefully everybody's having a great day. It is a bye week for the Eagles, but it is always an NFL week and a college football week, a sports week, what have you. We cross all the T's and dot all the I's here. By the way, we're powered by our friends at BetUS. For the next 4 hours, do me a favor, make sure you check out our friends' website. Looking for a new betting house during this football season, that is your place, no question. Bye week's going to be a little brutal for the Philadelphia Eagle fans and the Philadelphia Eagle organization. No doubt, Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat. And today we have 10 candidates to replace him. It's time to start talking this. It's time. I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm done with him. I'm done. I don't care what he did. He'll have to win the Super Bowl to keep his job. He's completely incompetent. I am not going to sit here and not start talking about replacing him. I am coming up with names for you. Who would be the best candidate to replace Nick Sirianni at the end of the year? He's not qualified to be the head football coach any longer. He's not. News of the day. Davante Adams wants out of Las Vegas, and Las Vegas wants to get rid of him. He's a game-changing player. Guys, do me a favor, please hit the like button. He's a game-changing player. He goes back to Green Bay, that's a problem. He goes to Dallas, that's a problem. How about this one? He goes to Washington. On the other side of Terry McLaurin, they got a better wide receiving core than the Eagles. They'll be better than the Eagles. Davante Adams, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. I think the X factor is the quarterback. I think he's a better arm than Hurts. I don't know if the Raiders want to trade him in the AFC, which means Jets and Chiefs. Here's the issue we have with the Jets. How many years is Aaron Rodgers going to be in New York? 2? 1? How many? I mean, if you're Davante Adams, do you want to go to New York? And do you want to really see what the quarterback is going to be on the other side of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, really? Look at this dumbass here. Sills is mad. Hoss, you're delusional. Somebody wake this guy up. Somebody wake this guy up. He's in an Eagle fog, like the Fog Bowl. Somebody wake that guy up. It is time to think about replacing the biggest loser in Eagle history in the head coach. He says nothing. Sills, but look at his record. Records don't define a coach. Championships do. No matter what you say, no matter what Doug is doing in Jacksonville, it doesn't matter. Doug's 4-2 in the playoffs in Philly, and he's got a Lombardi trophy. If you're defining coaches by the regular season, Marty Schottenheimer would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's got 206 wins. This guy's got more wins. He's got more wins than Chuck Noll. He ain't in. He ain't in. This guy's got more wins than Marv Levy. Marty Schottenheimer. Doesn't matter. It's about championships. By the way, How in the world? Hey, let me ask you this. If Doug Peterson had the same record that Nick Sirianni has, would he be fired? No. Then how come the guy with the better record, people want to have him fired? How can a guy with all that success, how can an entire fan base and people around the pundits in the NFL and all the sports want him fired? You know why? No one knows what his job is. Hey, it's one thing for Doug to be 0-4. At least he has a job. Nick has no job except getting in the way. That's why his ass is on the hot seat. Imagine that. You've gone to a Super Bowl. You've won an NFC championship. You've been to the playoffs 3 years in a row, and people want you replaced. Hey, Nick, go make me a sandwich. Hit the like button. It's time to replace this guy. By the way, first quarter poll grades. We have them for you. We have a question between Hurts and the defense. The 10 candidates that I want to replace Nick Sirianni at the end of the year, no matter fucking what, unless he wins the Super Bowl. Fire him. Fire. How many people in here want Nick Sirianni fired at the end of this season? How many people want him fired? Just take a little straw poll here. How many want this guy fired? Tony, gone. Abe, fired. Me, now. I do 100%. Yes. Me, fired. Look at this. Entire fan base. The entire fan base. I agree. Hey, senor, that's why I brought that up. That's why I brought that up. Everybody in here wants that guy fired. The entire city of Philadelphia be more willing to give Jalen Hurts the bye and give him the pass. And they want to fire Nick. They should. He sucks. Every single person in Philadelphia, every single person that covers the NFL thinks he's horrible. Black Monday last year should have been fired. Absolutely. I've got 10 candidates. Do we start there? Guys, please hit the like button. Nobody in Philadelphia is putting a list up because they're afraid. We are. It's time. It sucks how the way the NFL works. Sirianni's in a tough spot. He has potential, but not putting it together with this team. Coaching Philly, whether you win or lose, comes with the territory. Derek, amen. You're 100% right. And Derek, by the way, remember something here, okay? He can't spend $200 million on an offense and look like the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles. Do you know why I want him fired? Nothing's changed. It looks the same. It looks the same. And by the way, I come out of that Buccaneer game with this on Jalen Hurts. It's not that you lost the game. It's how you lost it. He looks completely lost. Should a quarterback, how about this, guys? Should a quarterback look completely lost with players not in the huddle? Should they look completely lost? Brock Purdy doesn't look lost. He completely looks lost. I mean, he's lost. I mean, do it again. I get it. You lose players. Okay? I get it. But should you look like you don't know what you're doing, overthrowing passes, not reading progressions? You got fucking people in the interview room asking the coach, should he be going through his progressions quicker? Well, we're in the 5th year here of his career, 4th year starting. Where are we going? By the way, once again, since he got that bag of money, he has sucked. What's his record since a year ago? What is it? He's 13-9 since he got the bag of money. He's 13-9 with 27 turnovers in 22 games. What happened? Well, Sills, he'll get better when these. I don't believe that. What happened at the end of last year? He didn't get better. He still was turning the ball over. And he had Devontae and AJ for the last 12 games of the year. What happened? I don't think it matters if those guys are on the field or not. He's not good. But I'm willing to give this guy, you know what? These guys come back. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm going to give you the 10 candidates to replace this bum. Sills, the reason I keep going back to Bell is because she's been on our sidelines when Nick retired. Do you think he was really there for Nicole? What was he doing in the building last year? I have no idea. I have no idea what his job is. I have no idea. I put more of the blame on Howie and Jeff. But here's the problem with that. They're not going anywhere. The coaches are the replaceable factor here, not even Jalen. I put more of the blame on Howie and Jeff. You delayed an inevitable. And now you're going to have to hire a new coach and new coordinator all over again, a wasted year. But, dude, this is what they do. This is what they do. Xander said it. It's the Philly way. It's the Philly way. I'm glad to see everyone in here wants this bum replaced. So happy. You know why? You can't be bullshitted anymore. All head coaching candidates better be mediocre, otherwise Howie won't hire them. Howie wants only head coaches who have no power. Then you're never going to get a coach in the building and you're never going to develop your quarterback. I think Carson Wentz was destroyed here by the Eagles. And his own inability to help himself was the ending and was the dirt being thrown on the coffin. But they destroyed him. And now they're destroying Hurts. It's the way they do business. You're destroying another quarterback right in front of your eyes. Even Angelo the other day said it. It sure looks like the same process. No different. Just a different name on the back of the jersey. You are fucking destroying another quarterback. With your revolving door of coordinators and your inability to build a defense to help him. You guys are right about one thing about Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl window. Why? Because when they got rid of Tyreek Hill, what did they do with the assets? They weren't restructuring wide receiver contracts. They were building their defense with the picks. Who's in a better shape right now? The Miami Dolphins with Tyreek Hill or the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh, and Hill's the best player in the game. But Sills, I don't care how good your quarterback is. You can't stop people. You're not going to win. It's still a team game. It's still a team game. As a Bucs fan, I'm loving the gear in the back. DQ, thank you, man. Leroy Salmon right there, my friend. Love my friend. Kansas City drafted and rebuilt the defense and scouted and hit on picks. Future's bright in Kansas City. Absolutely, man. And what's the one thing you have that Philadelphia will never have? Stability in the coaching staff. Philadelphia hasn't had stability in the coaching staff since Andy Reid. Really. And you had a three-headed horseman in 17. You won the Super Bowl because you had three head coaches. Schwartz, Doug, and Frank. Now you've got turds. How could Jalen Hurts get better? Your quarterback has no chance at getting better. Seals, do you think head coaches and players want to come to Philadelphia? I do not. I do. Sam, you know why? Players are going to get paid. Players are going to get paid. Dude, Philly's not a bad place to play. That's not the problem. And know this, if the general manager trades for you or gives you a bag of money, he's going to do everything in his power to keep you on the roster. James Bradbury's a great example of that. Devin White, why is he on the team? Why is Devin White still on the Eagle roster? Can someone help me? Why is Devin White still on the Eagle roster? What's the point? He's not active. He doesn't play. It's almost like the same bullshit with Rashad Penny last year. Why is he on the football team? Why is that guy on the football team? He doesn't even play special teams. Howie paid him. And the owner's money, he doesn't want to cut him because it'll make him look bad. Wasted money. This guy is more concerned on how he looks to his owner because he doesn't want to be put back in the broom closet. And now you've got Vic Fangio lying for Bryce Huff. He's getting better. Who in the fuck did you end up giving $51 million to? Look at the money. By the way, Gardner Johnson is garbage. He's garbage. Hey, let me put this out there to you too. Darius Slade came out and apologized to Philly fans. Philly fans don't want to hear that, an apology. They want to know why you're the easiest target in one of the easier targets in the National Football League this year when it comes to pass completions. They only want you to go out. You should be apologizing for your play. Not because you're sitting around kissing ass with Micah Parsons. Nobody gives a fuck about that. It's water under the bridge here now, dude. You can't walk that back. They know who you are. Hey, I run with you. No, you don't. The only reason he did that, Xander's like, well, hey, I have other interests. Nobody's denying that. But know the room, Captain. Know the room, Captain. That's your captain? Fuck that. I'd have a mutiny on that dude. I'm surprised more people haven't gone up to him and go, what the fuck you doing? We got to play them dudes and that guy. I'm going to fucking do everything I can to run Parsons over. And I don't want to be his butt buddy like you. Well, it's today's NFL. Well, fuck that. You need some people that hate people and only care about winning. Hard to find them guys, I guess, because we're in the new modern age. Right, Cappy? Thanks, Cappy. Hey, Cappy. Who are you going to kiss the ass with next? Jaden Daniels? Hey, Cappy. That's his new name. Cappy Slay. Hey, Cappy. Slay said we don't need to divide. You should have thought that out before you did your dumb bullshit. Hey, dude, your apology means dick to me. I don't care. You're a horrible teammate. There's nothing you could say to reverse this. I don't care. We're just going to move on. Go play your position and shut the fuck up. Guard somebody. I'm sick of him. He stinks. Old man Slay. Hey, go put some more numbers up. You should make a t-shirt. Xander should make a new t-shirt. Darius Slay with his career numbers. What a loser. What a loser. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Philly, you know I roll with you. They don't believe you. They don't believe you. They don't. I think mainstream media is ignoring the cupcake schedule the Eagles had during their. No, I didn't. You know what's funny, Joe? I told you played shitty quarterbacks and you had an easy schedule that year and you had a dynamic veteran football team that year. You didn't play anybody. You played Daniel Jones and you finished up with Christian McCaffrey in the NFC title game. I mean, they were good too, though. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. They were good in 22. They may have actually had a better team in 22. Wait, I'll take that back. They may have had better talent in 22 than they did in 17, but you weren't a better team. The 17 Philadelphia Eagles are the quintessential example of team leadership. The 17 team would have wiped the floor in coaching and in desire. Better hope it's not hot when you play the 17 team, or the 22 team won't show up. The 17 team is not going to allow heat to be a factor. The 22 team makes it as an excuse. Or as John McMullen says, it must be the field. I mean, Brazil, Arizona. How many fields can you not play on? I mean, really. So which is it? The Arizona field hurt you in the Super Bowl or the Brazil field where you couldn't get a pass rush? I mean, I'm the field? Really? I can't believe I actually hear media people and Philadelphia sports fans use the field as an excuse for the Super Bowl loss, for a poor play on defense against the Packers. It's actually pathetic. Right, Maniac. The field. Here's Philly fan of 2024. Well, Hurts sucks because of coordinators and coaching. Injuries. Here, what's the new one? It's not the right system for him. Oh, okay. Man, how about just shitty play? How about a guy manning up and playing better? John McMullen's right about one thing. It starts with player accountability first. Then you can go through the other bullshit. Field, coaching, Howie, Jeffrey. Philadelphia is an excuse machine. Got an excuse for everything now. I never thought that. I never thought that. You know, there were cities that you dreamed of talking sports in that didn't tolerate bullshit. Field? You can't really believe that. I don't believe that that's the majority of the Eagle fans and Philadelphia sports fans that use excuses like that. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that. I'm going to take that back. Sales Kelsey did take a huge load of Hurts. Now gone. He can't handle the additional responsibility. Do you think centers handling certain quarterbacks' responsibility hinders the growth of developing quarterbacks? Justo, absolutely. No question about it. No question about it. There's an excuse for whenever we win on this show. Is there an excuse? What excuse? For living up to your abilities? That guy wants a pat on the back for living up to your capabilities. Can I tell you what you have on your football team? Here is the image of your team. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Two guys that don't live up to their ability. Eagles don't play up to their ability. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Lately, they haven't. In the last 22 games, you've lost 13. Is that good Eagle football? Is that championship football? You know what's crazy? This is not opinion. This is who you are. This is who you are. And by the way, it's got nothing to do with me. Because I've been telling you this for 4 years. This is why I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. It was eventually going to catch up. Even Nick Sirianni said that this is unsustainable, the turnovers. It's unsustainable. Now it's catching up. That's why you're 13-9. And that's why it doesn't look any better. The Eagles are trending down to being next year or a year after a four-win team like they did a couple of years ago. Then they'll build it back up again. Like Jeff Kerr says, here's the Philadelphia Eagle success train. Here, I'll draw it up for you. Here you go. That's Howie's success train. Am I wrong? You had no Super Bowl window after 17. 2 years later, you were a 4-win team. 2 years ago, you were in a Super Bowl. Has it gotten better, or is it still trending down? Get this. You know who you have become? Xander, you're too young for this. You're the Atlanta Braves of the 90s. A lot of wins, no titles, but one. That's who you are. You're the Braves. Congratulations. Bobby Cox had a lot of success. You're the Braves. You're the Bobby Cox Braves with Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, and all them guys. Terry Pendleton. You won one title. Yeah, no, you're the Braves. Eagles podcast. Thank you, my friend. Fire Nick with Bye and let Kellen interim. See what we have. You're the. By the way, Since 2000, you're 17-17 in the postseason. I don't know. You're a 500 postseason team in 24 years. Everyone just needs to relax. We are going to be fine. Yeah, it sure looks it. Tell you who's trending better. Washington Commanders. Here are my 10 names to replace that bum known as Nick Sirianni. And then what we'll do is we'll pare it down to 5, and we'll go from there. Fair? Fair. It's a good question here. Will says, Sills, do you believe it's more on the players or coaches? Well, wait a minute now. If you're going to blame the players, you got to blame the guy who put the players in the locker room, don't you? Don't you? You start with the guy who's hiring and drafting, don't you? You start there. You can't just go like this. Well, I'm going to draft this guy and sign this guy, and it's up to the coaches to make that bum better. That's not how it works. See, listen, you can look at every single prospect on the planet, but not every guy fits in the scheme that the Eagles want. He's a plug-and-play general manager for a reason. Especially on the defense, it's noticeable and it's predictable. That's why you're not really great for any length of time any longer on defense, because you don't have any guy with talent evaluation on that side who knows what he's doing. You have no idea what anybody knows what they're doing on defense when it comes to player personnel. Nobody. You can't tell me in the last 5 years a Pro Bowler that they've drafted that's worth a shit in the last 5 years. If this defense plays like we have been, we are trending downhill. We are too inconsistent at defense. You're too inconsistent at defense and coaching hires. Scheme. Why does the scheme stay the same? Howie. It's easier for him to plug and play. Do you notice the scheme stays the same? Desai, Patricia, Vic. Why do you think that is? Believe me, if you hired a brand new defensive coordinator like a Wink Martindale up in Michigan, he would come in and completely change the personnel. And that would go against everything in the sandbox of Howie Roseman. Completely go against it. Sills, on the Carter and Davis topic, is your take based on your opinion or is it from conversation with the D-line coach? Does their position coach view them as underachieving or not skilled? Let me write that down so I don't forget. Kimberly, do you think it's any coincidence Bill was in a suit on the sidelines when Foles retired? Now you're being like me, a little bit of conspiracy there, Kimberly. They're underachieving. They're underachieving. I can't believe that they have to coach desire to those two players at defensive tackle. There's not a hunger to be excellent from them two. Jalen Carter played well in New Orleans because they called him a bum. Jalen Carter read his headlines, got a game ball, and he puts up a performance like that, and he's in the tank because he's out of gas. You played at Georgia. I mean, do you understand Athens and Tampa, you're talking about probably 8 hours in a drive to get to Athens. You didn't play in that heat when you went to Gainesville? Or when you went to Ole Miss? Or LSU? You didn't play in that heat? Either that, you're not in shape mentally and physically. I mean, what was that? How can those two Southern kids inside not be prepared and they played at Georgia? Dude, Georgia's not that far removed from having the same weather conditions as Florida. I know, I played in both places. And Jet's right, Jalen Carter's from Florida. I mean, shit, dude. How are you not in shape? How do you know what the heat's going to not be when you're in Tampa? You know the fucking humidity in Tampa. Everyone knows the humidity in Tampa. All right, let's get to these 10 guys here. Guys, please hit the like button here. That's a weak-ass team, man. You're mentally soft. You have no leadership. And Cappy Slay sucks as your defensive leader. Come on, Cappy. Seals, we got the tree and Vic Fangio, not the branches, like Patricia or Desai. Shit's the same, completely. Come on, Cappy. Come on, Cappy. The identity of this defense is going to be inconsistency because just like last year, the coordinator wasn't making in-game adjustments. In that Tampa game. Absolutely. Come on, Cappy. 10 names to replace that bum Nick Sirianni. Then we'll get it down to 5. And then you and I will land on a guy. And we hope we can get him. Bill Belichick. Start there. Would he be a good hire? And would that be a hire that Jeffrey Lurie would hire? I say no. He has to surrender. No, guys. Don't say he'll be the hire. You know, let me do this. Got to remember, I want you to use the philosophy of the organization too in this hire. Okay? Belichick's the greatest head coach in pro football history. There's no coincidence he coached the two greatest players on both sides of the ball, Lawrence Taylor and Brady. There's no coincidence. I get it. The owner of 8 Super Bowl rings. The greatest defensive mind in the history of the NFL. Jason goes only because of Brady. Well, who fucking drafted him, guy? At one time, Bill Belichick had 4 starting quarterbacks at one time that he drafted out of New England. You make it sound like that guy didn't know what he was doing in personnel. That's a lie. You know, after 25 years, it actually ran out of gas. How many dynasties have ever lasted longer than New England's? None. And Reyes goes, only because of Brady. Who fucking drafted him? Who went to the owner and said this? You know the money that you paid Bledsoe, that $117 million? The year before. And gave him an $18 million signing bonus? Belichick walks up to Kraft and goes, I'm going with the 6th rounder. I'm going with the 6th rounder. Kraft went, what? Then, what did Belichick do? He traded him in the division, not the conference. the division to Buffalo for draft picks. By the way, let's not forget he went 11-5 with a guy named Matt Castle in New England. Matt Castle, who never started it down at USC. He was a backup to Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart. And he was a better quarterback than Matt Leinart. Ask Ed Kratz. He said this on Birds 365. Where do you get Chris Hogan, Amendola, Wes Welker, Edelman, Troy Brown, Deion Branch? Those are the names he was winning Super Bowls with. "25 years and 4 shitty ones and 6 Super Bowls. I'll take that. Yeah, and he drafted Gronk, who had a horrible Arizona career in the second round. Teddy Bruschi, he didn't draft. He was already there under Pete Carroll. He didn't draft Teddy Bruschi. Teddy Bruschi was already in New England. I want Vrabel, but I'm not confident. Even when Nick is gone, they won't bring someone qualified to run the front office as their perfect setup. Hey, no doubt. They want a yes man at head coach, staff picked by and being loyal to Howie, absolutely, and Jeffrey. That's why Belichick won't work. He's off the list. He's off the list. He's not a hire for the Eagles. That's like saying he'd fit in Dallas. Bill once rode in there with Scott Pioli. You think the owner's going to fire Howie? Absolutely not. If you cannot change the general manager, Belichick don't want the job. Jeremy Fowler said Belichick after the Sirianni article. The owner would have to fire Roseman. Roseman's not going to be subservient to Bill at 71. That's not happening. If Belichick was 62, this is a different conversation. Master Chief, we are firing that fuck after the year. It doesn't work unless you fire. How many people believe Roseman? If this is a complete train wreck at the end of the year, how many people truly believe the owner will fire Howie Roseman? I do not. I do not believe. No, I don't, Rob. I don't believe they'll clean house. I do not. No way. Why is that? You want to know why? Because Howie watches his money. Look at this dickhead. This dickhead thinks this is a 4-game issue. You can't be any more ridiculous with that take. Howie and Laurie have consulted with Belichick before and respect him. Hey, it's one thing to ask a guy an opinion. It's another thing to hire him as the head guy to take complete control of the roster. Let me ask you this. Do you think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman would sign off on Belichick benching Jalen Hurts? Belichick would bench him for all those turnovers. Do you think that those guys would sign off on that? Say he has one more. If that guy has another turnover play game, then you know what they're going to do? Belichick would bench him. He would bench him. But no. But do you believe Howie and the general manager would bench him? Tony, No fucking way. Damn right. Doug benched Wentz. And Doug got fired. Belichick's out. Next guy. Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson. This fits more the mold. Never a head football coach. They can mold him. He's an offensive savant. Look at what he's done with Jared Goff. Jared Goff was supposed to be a bridge quarterback for the next guy. Instead, he signs a $200 million contract and now makes more than Hurts. And looks like one of the best, if not the top two quarterbacks in the NFC. The three best quarterbacks in the NFC right now playing the best is Purdy, Goff, and probably Stafford is probably still in the conversation, but he's not playing great because of the injuries. The two best quarterbacks right now in the NFC are Purdy and Goff. Right. Maybe Geno. Ben Johnson's quarterback had 100% completion percentage on Monday night. Was offered the Washington Commanders job and turned it down. Jared Goff, I can't believe that he's better than Dak. I can't believe it. Can it possibly be true that Ben Johnson is a better play caller than Sean McVay? Can it be? Because the job that Ben Johnson has done for Jared Goff has come to the tune of $53 million a year. Did you hear what I said? $53 million a year he makes for a quarterback who was supposed to be a bridge quarterback. $53 million. That's what that guy's making now. And by the way, that guy throws for 4,500 yards every year and 30 touchdowns. Every year. I can't believe he's as good as he is. Never saw this. I mean, Jared Goff's statistics are insane since he's been in Detroit. Just insane. I won't even use the McVay years. Jared Goff stats. Look at the numbers just in Detroit since he's been in Detroit. And then look at the winning. This is with Ben Johnson. I can't believe he's been in Detroit. He's going on his fourth year. His first year, they were 3-10-1. His next year, they were 9-8. Am I right to say this in the last? Get this. Who do you think has won more games since the start of the 2023 season? I can't believe what I'm reading here. Man. Jared Goff was 16-7 in Detroit in the last 2 years. Hurts is 13-9. Where's your boy? Oh, I didn't get to the stats. Because he is winning. 66 completion percentage, 67 completion percentage, 4,500 passing yards and 30 touchdowns, 4,600 passing yards and 30 touchdowns. All under Ben Johnson. I'm going to circle this guy. Jared Goff. I like Ben Johnson. Has a great mind, but will he be allowed to run his offense? Or will he have to run what the owner wants? Otherwise, they'll ruin him also. It's a great take, Anthony. That's a great take. You're right, because he's going to have options. Unlike Kellen, who was the second option in Philly. You're right. So you're going to put a question mark by that now. Would Ben be able to run his own ship? When Cliff was told he couldn't, he bailed on the contract, the 3-year deal the Eagles were going to give him. He bailed on it and went to Washington. Oh, this is another great take by JAKIB. Brad Holmes, the general manager, is a better talent evaluator. I'll tell you one thing about Detroit, they don't miss on draft picks. That Brad Holmes is some talent evaluator. Holy shit, is he great. They have retooled, revamped. Detroit doesn't look the same. It's a funny question now. Where would you rather play, Detroit or Philly? I don't know. That was never an option. Detroit always drafts better, way better. Not always. Not always. When they had Dan Quinn up there, or whatever that guy's, Brad Quinn, whatever his name was, he stunk. So that's a question mark, because he's going to have options. You're going to have to overpay him. If you want Ben Johnson, you'll have to pay him $17 million to be the head coach. Would the owner do that? I don't know. And if you give a guy $17 million, you are not going to not let him run his own ship. Number 3, Bobby Slowick, Texans, OC. CJ Stroud is unbelievable. I never saw that coming. He's unbelievable. You have to understand, the reason I never liked the guy, because I never liked anybody out of Ohio State. They've never had a quarterback come out of that program ever. Ever. That was decent, let alone great. Nobody comes out of Ohio State. They're all bums. They're all bums. Or they look like Justin Fields. I mean, they look like bums. This guy spreads the ball around. He looks progressions over. I mean, hey, can I tell you a secret? Let me tell you the secret to the failures that are going on in Cincinnati right now. Dude, you got rid of Joe Mixon? I don't think there's any coincidence. They don't have any running game up there in Cincinnati. You bring that dude down to Houston now? And plus they have another back down there. What's his name? Tank Dell? They got another guy down there. They run the football. Plus they have Jeremy Tunsil. Dude, I don't think there's any coincidence that they run the football in Houston. I mean, they run it. That guy's a great looking coordinator here, this Bobby Slowick. So Ben Johnson, Lions OC to replace that bum Sirianni. Bobby Slowick. I got 2 guys. By the way, I'm going to post this on our Twitter. And I suggest that our JAKIB people post this on our Twitter. Names to replace Nick Sirianni. Our 5 names that we're going to pare it down to. You want to see people get absolutely upset? Well, we're going to come up with 5 names. And then you're going to pick one from the 5. But you guys are going to set the 5 first. Number 4, Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. He has done a great job in doing the one thing that Jalen Hurts can't do: protect the football. Josh Allen is protecting the football better since Joe Brady got a hold of him. Remember Joe Brady's pedigree. He was the offensive coordinator at LSU when they had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. He was the OC when they won the national title. This guy knows what he's doing at the quarterback position. Okay? That's someone down their line. Is somebody like Joe Brady. Joe Brady taking over for James Franklin at Penn State. I've heard that. Okay? Kyle says circle that name. Joe Brady is right up the type of coordinator Howie and Jeffrey would hire for head coach. And you know what you might do? Let's fantasize for a second. Eagles making a trade to Cincinnati to get Joe Burrow and hook Brady and him back up again in Philly. Coordinators like familiarity with their players, and players like familiarity with their quarterbacks, don't they? Daniel Hackett, New York. Make a call to Duke Tobin. Hey, we'll take the contract on. Flexing goes won't happen. Probably not. But there's a better likelihood it could happen if you had Joe Brady as your head coach. Joe Brady. So we've got Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, and Joe Brady. By the way, that bum coach is getting fired at the end of the year. Bum coach is getting fired with a winning record in playoffs. And they're still going to fire his fucking ass. You'll fire a guy who won a Super Bowl. You'll fire a guy with his record too. They don't care. Nick is a guy who, remember that movie Car Wash? Okay, remember that? Or Used Cars. He's the dude that sits out in a cheap fucking suit, tries selling you some bullshit. Next guy up. Joe Brady. No, excuse me. Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's not coming to Philly. Too much of an alpha dog. Would tell Howie to go fuck himself. You imagine him coming in the room and telling Mike Vrabel, you got to pay Bryce Huff and Nakobe Dean. Mike Vrabel might pick you up and knock you out. That ain't happening. Mike Vrabel would eat him alive. Elf Roseman would be backhanded. Get the fuck out of my coaching office. Howie Roseman, by the way, ain't sitting in a room with Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel on game plans. That's why those guys can't be hired. When I hear Nick say this, it infuriates me. we have everybody think about the game plan. Howie's in the room with us, and you're like, what's Howie Roseman doing in a room on putting a game plan together? He doesn't know football. What would he know about situational football? And what would he possibly know? He's never been a coach. He's never put a game plan together. What would he possibly fucking know? Dude, the quicker you get Nick Sirianni out of there, the better. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Mike Vrabel's out. Belichick's out. Here's a great name. Hit the like button. Thank you guys so much today. Appreciate it. I'm so glad to see everybody's on page today. Every single person in here is on page. Okay? How about this name? Bob, tell me what you think of this name. Todd Monken. Baltimore Ravens. Coaches Lamar. Jalen's style of play. Got him an MVP award. Won 14 games. Now you're going back to Jalen's roots. Todd Monken. That's the best name. Okay? Todd Monken. One, two, three, four we have. Got to find one more. How many people believe in here that Nick Sirianni will be fired if the team does make it to the NFC Championship game at the end of the year with the amount of investment and the amount of money that they've paid this year for that football team? How many people believe that? Eagles lose the next 3 games. Would Nick be fired? End of the year. Let's see here. Diego. Facts. Absolutely. Lamar is way better right now because of the OC. Todd Monken. He's done. Absolutely. Nick will be fired regardless. Look at all. I'm glad to see that. Everybody in here. Nick is ripping the team apart. Yes, he would be fired. Better be fired. There's nobody in here that doesn't think he should be fired. Look at Twiz. Win a playoff game, he'll be retained. That's why they wanted him fired last year after he got annihilated by the Buccaneers. Sure. They're not fucking putting up with that shit again. The quarterback hates him. Jalen Hurts is not going anywhere for 3 years. That's why he's going to be replaced. The quarterback hates Nick Sirianni. Hey, how many people in here believe that quarterback hates Nick Sirianni? How many people believe the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, hates Nick Sirianni? He does. Flexen, I do. Steve, I do. Charlie, yes. Billy Jacks, yes. Me, yes, I do. Me too. Anthony. Abe goes, I hate him. Here's Bob. Sales, while a new coach is a must, it is relevant if the GM is the same. I will do the same to Monken as he did to Nick. Which 3 organizations run the best draft, talent, and evaluation? Draft, talent, evaluation. You should add also Bob coaching. San Francisco, Kansas City, Green Bay, Philly doesn't do a good job on college personnel. They don't do a good job consistently on coaching. And I'm talking assistants, not just the head guy. Yeah, Charlie, I would think Seattle. They do a nice job in Seattle. Steelers, 3 coaches in 50 some odd years. Yep, Steelers. Yep, Steelers. There's a handful of these teams. Baltimore is also in that room. Talent evaluating. Nick Caserio, Ozzie Newsome, player personnel, coaching hires. Absolutely. Yes. Yep, those are probably your best places. I think the Rams have gotten better since Les Snead and Kevin Demoff and Sean McVay. I think they do a nice job at personnel. I think the injuries have killed them. Houston is getting better, Tony. It's a great call there, Tony. It's a great call because of Nick Caserio down in Houston. Nick was up in New England with Belichick. It's getting better. Talent evaluation and drafting. That's Jeff DeBone, Minnesota. I never thought about it, but you think, not horrible. Not horrible, right? Not horrible. Yes. Not horrible. Buffalo has gotten better. I don't believe they have the right coach in Sean McDermott. I think they do a nice job of talent evaluation. They got the quarterback right. But you know what? I want to see how the defense is going to play, but they've gotten the Chargers. Absolutely not. Now, Abe, it'll change because here's the thing, Gabe. Abe, they did a nice job with Tom Telesco. Had a lot of talent on the team, but you can't hire Brandon Staley. You know what I'm saying? You can't hire Mike McCoy. Okay, they get the coaching wrong in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Now they got Harbaugh. So we'll see how that goes. But they had 2 of the components right. Talent evaluation, contracts, all that. I think Tom did a nice job there. But the hiring of the coach was just not good. Brandon Staley and Mike McCoy? Come on, man. What's his name? Anthony Lynn? That's not going to work. The lack of foresight as to what would unfold by bringing Sirianni back is staggering. In truth, they preferred turning all coaching decisions over to Alan Julian. They'd be innovators. Yikes. Absolutely relative. Dude, they're trying to win a championship from the front office. Relative. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. How about Shane Steichen? I doubt that Jim Irsay would let him go. Here's a guy that artificial intelligence. Thank you. I got it. I doubt it, but you never know with the pill popper. Okay? You never know what the pill popper would do. Jim Irsay. I'm not sure what he would do. He's unpredictable. It would be great for Jalen, but Shane Steichen gets his quarterback killed. I say that's out. How about Frank Reich? Shit probably passed. I wouldn't mind him as a coordinator. But as a head coach, how about Brian Flores? turned Miami around. Miami was actually a tougher team with him. I really like Brian Flores. I really do. I like Brian Flores. And he can fix your defense. So as of right now, we have Johnson, Slowick, Brady, and Munkin. Let's pass on Brian Flores. I got 2 remaining. This one will be a little controversial. John Gruden. If there's a city that could turn his reputation around and that would accept him, it'd be Philly. John Gruden. John Gruden. Guy gets a second chance in Philly, a second chance city. Luke's probably right. John Gruden. That's my pick to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. John Gruden. Gruden, Todd Monken, Joe Brady, Bobby Slowick, Ben Johnson. Remember something, folks. I'm looking to make Jalen the best he can be. And I'm also looking to win games. Let me ask you something. Have the Raiders been the same since he left? Oh, and for the record, if you're worried about perception and shit, the NFL doesn't care about Colin Kaepernick. Why would they care about John Gruden? If they cared about race relations, they'd have brought him back. They didn't care about it. They had every opportunity to. They didn't give a shit whether he was black or white. They knew he was a distraction. They could give a fuck about him. If they cared about that whole situation, they'd have brought him back. A team would have given him a shot. They didn't care. They only care what guy gives me the best chance to win. John Gruden, former assistant coach and offensive coordinator in Philly, too, by the way. And you'd have a play calling head coach. Well, I'll tell you what, Forrest. John Gruden wins a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. In my opinion, John Gruden is a little bit better of a coach than Doug Peterson. He's a play calling head coach. Mike Holmgren tree. Andy Reid tree. The whole thing. Developer of offenses. John Gruden. Now this, Dave, is a hell of a take. Gruden too complicated for Hurts. Dave, who said Jalen Hurts would be his quarterback? That guy won fucking ball games with Tim Rattay and Chris Sims. I mean, who said that Hurts would be Gruden's quarterback? He turned Rich Gannon into an MVP. Brad Johnson wins the Super Bowl, and Rich Gannon is an MVP. All right. Put your name on the list. You got all the answers. What the fuck has this got to do with me, dickbag? What's it got to do with me? Holy shit. The idiots that are in here dude, I'm having a conversation with all the people who are trying to get the team into a position where you're heading upwards again and not downwards, which you are, and you're making it about me. What are you doing? Stupid. What are you thinking? Hey, Fat Mac, go make me a fucking sandwich. M. Reyes goes, you're making me, get this. M. Reyes goes, I'm making him depressed. No, what should make you depressed is when you get a team like the Bucs kick the shit out of you. That's depressing. That's depressing. It's getting the shit kicked out of you by the Bucs. M. Reyes, you got me. Hey, take a victory lap. One of the very few you possibly can. Okay? Take a victory lap. It's the only time you get to take a victory lap, M. Reyes. Okay? Take your victory lap. He got me. All right, M. Reyes. It's the only time you get a victory lap. Seals, Howie, get out of my office and make me a sandwich. That's a T-shirt, Xander. Howie, get out of my office and go make me a sandwich. He gets a victory lap on me. Of all people in here to get a victory lap on me, it's M. Reyes. Kudos to you, guy. Believe me, celebrate it because it won't be very many of those merit badges you get. Okay? I can't believe that guy. That guy got me. Him. Mr. Shit Take got me. But we got to be honest here because we're America's honesty broker. Now I'm getting at least 2 more laps today. No, you're not. Don't press yourself, kid. Guys, push the like button. By the way, I got to take a timeout because I forgot to tell you Mark Holmes is coming in here. And Eagle fans, do me a favor. I'm going to have to switch gears. I can't let this guy get a victory lap like he's going to. Philly 500 is coming in too. Okay? Be prepared. Mark Holmes has been talking on his show. So I'm going to take a time out here because we're going to need our energy. I'm pretty much done watching the Eagles. I'll just come here and we can recap it for me like Chris Berman. Tom Jackson. Chris Berman was the best. Absolutely. Mark Holmes and his Cowboy lovers are coming in here. Do me a favor, okay? Yeah, I don't know, Xander, what it's going to be like here. Oh, that's right. Hold on here. Merrill Reese is going to join us. I'm sorry. Way to go. I got my CTEs kicking. Merrill Reese. Hey, for all you Eagle guys, Merrill Reese is next. That's right. We moved Mark and Philly 500 to 4:30. That's right. We're going to get Merrill Reese's take. Some of you in here were depressed. You want to be uplifted? Merrill Reese is going to give you his view from the broadcaster's box on what he sees. Absolutely, Philly 007, CTE Sills high and working hard right here. Absolutely. Merrill Reese, the golden voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, will join us next. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate it. By the way, Doc Walker will be with us tomorrow, part of the broadcast team for the Washington Commanders, the first place Washington Commanders, the 3-1 Washington Commanders, and Brian Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury doing a great job with Jaden Daniels there in Washington. Their offensive line looks pretty good. Why? They're getting the ball out of the hands of the quarterback quick. So we'll talk to our dear friend Doc Walker. That will be tomorrow. Before I get Merrill Reese on, there's one thing that I am learning about all of you in Philly. I got a guy who just DM'd me, and it says, "Hey, Sileo, let me tell you about a couple of 3 things here about this football team here that, you are sitting at 2-2. Okay, a lot of injuries on the football team. We know this." He goes, "But let me tell you a couple of the things here, and let me tell you a couple of 3 things. Okay, where are we going with this coach? Where are we going?" And you're like, hey, holy cow. I think Philly's burning, man. And a man who has seen it. By the way, I wonder how hot he was at Raymond James this past weekend, because like Merrill has said, that's one of the shittiest press boxes in all of pro football. Our friend, the golden voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, it is Merrill Reese. He joins us now here. Merrill, how hot was it in Tampa this past weekend?
Dan, it might have been hot for the players, but I was sitting up. That's not a bad press box.
Okay.
That's not even in the top 20 worst. Believe me. All I care about, it's a little cramped because we sit 4 across with Mike, me, my spotter, and my stat guy. But it's a little cramped, but it's a good view. You're right there at the 40-yard line. You're mid-level. I judge it by the view. When we're in Washington or Landover, Maryland, and you're sitting there in the corner and you're low and there's an overhang and you can't see the scoreboard and the fans can sit up against the window and call you names, or the worst, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. That place used to be good, but now we're up in the corner someplace. We can't see a third of the field. And the other stadium that is awful is, you can call it what you want. I have renamed it SoFar Stadium in Los Angeles, and we are in the end zone, and there's glass up to here. We're in the back of the end zone. That is terrible. So if you're going to talk about Raymond James, I have no complaints.
You know what, though? I've heard this, and I've actually been up in the broadcast booth for AT&T in Dallas. That gigantic thing, don't you have to do your broadcast off the monitors?
When they're
because that thing hangs down so low?
No. The thing is our savior. When we're at AT&T in Dallas, we're in the end zone. We're way up in the air, but it's a huge booth, and anything on our side of the 40 is great. And when they go past the 40 in the other direction, from our left to our right, you just call it off the monitor. You just call it off that big screen. But that big screen doesn't ever get in the way.
Merrill, let's get into what's getting in the way of this team a little bit here. Obviously, their injuries are going to play a factor. But before I pollute the question to you, let me just ask you your overview. There's 4 quarters in a football season. I know now, we have the 17th game, but we used to look at it in 4 quarters of the season, first 4, next 4. And like you say, and you say it every time you come on this program, the war of attrition. Sometimes you get it late in the year. Sometimes you get it early in the year. Sometimes you get it all year. Sometimes you never get it like you did in 22. Team is 2-2 right now. Give me your overview of what you've seen in the first quarter poll of the season so far.
I'd say a little below average. Nothing to be overly alarmed about, although the last game was a mess. When midway through the second quarter, the Bucs had gained 240 yards in the ground overall, and the Eagles had yet to gain a yard. So that concerns you. A slow start. This is the only team in the NFL that hasn't scored a single first quarter point. So that's not good. Jalen Hurts, I'm not down on Jalen Hurts. Everybody, you know how they are with quarterbacks. And I remind people, sometimes be careful what you wish for. But do you think Cleveland right now would trade Deshaun Watson for Baker Mayfield?
Absolutely. No question about it. I think they trade him for Tyrod Taylor right now.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. How about the Jets? Now the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, but basically when you talk about the Jets, they gave up on Sam Darnold, and he is ripping it up in Minnesota. So Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a great man. He's dedicated. He's coachable, and he's thrown 4 picks. But that's one less than Patrick Mahomes at this point.
How about this, though, Merrill? Let's expand it, though. Since 2003, in the start of the 2023 season, in 22 games, he's had 27 turnovers. I mean, and Nick even said it in his press conference. It's not sustainable, and it's going to eventually catch us. I mean, that has to be a concern in your opinion. Maybe the bye comes at a right time that will start to address this. But, I mean, just your takeaway on that, because it is becoming weekly, and it's becoming a weekly thing now.
I think he'll fix it. I really believe he'll fix it. I think Kellen Moore is an excellent offensive coordinator, and I think that Doug Nussmeier, who's the quarterback coach, they'll zero in. Jalen's too good and too smart to keep up with the fumbles are what really hurts. I mean, 4 interceptions. There are others with 4, and as I said, that the best quarterback in football right now has 5. So Patrick Mahomes has 5 interceptions. So it's too high, and the fumbles. Well, the fumble he had last week that killed him came on a pass play where the protection broke down, and it was his hand moving forward or wasn't it? And it was ruled that the ball was knocked out of nick before the hand started forward. But basically, ball security is important for any skill position player.
How about the defensive side of the football? I mean, Merrill, you can make the conversation about the injuries on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, there's no injuries. And,
there are a couple.
Well, I mean, the inability of Bryce Huff to get going and Nolan Smith not to get going, and the inconsistency of the 2 defensive tackles has to be alarming to Vic, because you're getting inconsistency. It's one thing to blame the Brazil field or the Heat in Tampa. We're coming up with excuses now here.
Well, make the Heat in Tampa an excuse, because the last thing I checked, both of the teams were playing under the same sun.
How about this, though? Are you concerned that the defense has gotten out to a slow start outside of New Orleans? I mean, how do you go from a performance like that and then you turn around and it's like the guys didn't even get off the bus in Tampa? I mean, your takeaway on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, they didn't tackle well. And when you
18 missed tackles.
See, if you're not tackling well and they're gashing you for 16 yards here and 15 yards there and then 7 there, you're never getting the quarterback at 3rd and long or even a 2nd or long. That was the key. The week before, Tampa Bay lost to Denver, and they sacked Baker Mayfield 7 times. Why? Because they stopped their running game, and they were able to tee off on 3rd and long. With this team this time, there weren't many thirds. They did what they had to in 1st and 2nd. The pass rush wasn't there. But why wasn't the pass rush there? Not because Jalen Carter couldn't pass rush, but the ball was out of the hands of Baker Mayfield too fast. And that would have stopped if the Eagles could have stopped the run or stopped the short gain after a pass. But they didn't. But you know what? When the schedule came out, I never looked, Dan, for who they're playing when, because it doesn't mean anything. Because you and I don't know in May or April what the Eagles are going to be like in mid-November, or who the Cowboys are going to have in their lineup when they line up. I mean, look at the Cowboys right now with Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence. So you don't know these things. What I look for is when the bye is coming. And when I saw the bye was this early, I said, that's bad. Because let's face it, you want it in late November before the stretch drive begins, so that a weary team can rest its bodies and get some of the injured back. But not this year. When that game ended, I said, thank goodness for the bye, because this team needs it to reassess, to figure out what is wrong, to work on fundamentals, and to get some healthy guys back, like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and their best offensive lineman, Lane Johnson. They need that. And also, they're going to get back another player who's been on the injured reserve since the offseason. Actually, he got hurt in the last regular season game last year, Sidney Brown. And he's a good football player. He's a good football player. He'll be back this week, and I think he'll be ready soon.
Yeah, I heard Vic say that, they're going to clear him for the bye week, and he's going to be active coming out of the bye week and getting ready for Cleveland here. Vic Fangio said something interesting in the offseason I think you even said you were with him when he said this. I think it was at a golf event or such. And he, someone asked him at a press conference, they go, hey, what do you think of your defense? He goes, hey, I'll let you know in week 12 how good we are. I don't know.
Yep.
So did you always think this was going to be a work in progress? Again, that, this was going to take its time here before people were going to say that this was going to be an elite defense? I mean, we're now in the era, Merrill. If you're looking for gangrene, those defenses and days are gone in today's NFL.
Yeah.
You're not going to see those style of defense. Did you always think this would be a work in progress?
Well, I was out playing golf. It was just we were playing golf together and just enjoying the day. And I said, what do you think of the defense? And he said, ask me in November. But I don't think he was expecting any big problems. I just think he's a veteran coach, and he knows that it takes a while to really assess the defense. Some of them start out great, like gangrene, and then once they're figured out, they become just green, so you don't know. But I think he's conservative in his thinking. He's not going to start looking for miracles early in the season. But I think the thing that I think he's most disappointed in is the tackling has been so bad. He said they leave their feet too early and they don't wrap up. And this is something they are preaching to them every single day. Wrap up, feet in the air, go after the player. But some of this is the product of not tackling during the preseason. And you would think after game 4, by game 4, they'd be able to straighten that out, but they haven't yet.
Merrill, do you think the lack of preseason activity plays a factor in the tackling and not being prepared when it comes to conditioning? Because, again, you look at a team like Kansas City, those guys, Mahomes played 2 of the 3 preseason games and actually played a full half in one of them. And, again, not that he's playing great. They're undefeated, though. But, again, do you think that is a precursor and a little bit of collateral damage that, they do not use? And I know they get to organized team practices, but that's not the same as an in-game adjustment, or even Vic says it. That's not real football.
No.
He thinks real football. And I think he had a problem with those guys not playing more. But just your takeaway, do you think that's a little bit – I wonder what Mike Quick says about that to you, and you guys talk about that back and forth. Do you think there's a little to that?
It's a risk reward. If you want to take the risk and think that if you stay healthy in camp and you get through it, it's going to pay off early. But here's what bothered me. They didn't do much. They had longer practices this year.
They did.
They weren't just hit the field and then go in. They worked hard. They worked really hard, but they did not tackle to the ground. And they go into the first game against Green Bay in Brazil, and they won. So I figured, all right. So it worked out. They didn't get anybody injured in the preseason, and they won their first game, and they tackled. So at least now the tackling is going to start to get better. Inexplicably, it really hasn't. Although you take that third game, and they tackled like demons when they were playing against the Saints in the Superdome. They tackled then, but again, they slipped, and they missed 15 tackles the other day in Tampa. 15 tackles. That's not good.
Merrill, I think that, you have said this on this program, I think injuries are just, when your time's up, you're going to get hurt. It's what it is, whether you're playing in preseason or not. Because look at what the Eagles did last year. They didn't play any preseason. They got out to a 10-1 start. Nobody was injured. All of a sudden this year, nobody played in the preseason. Almost everybody in the offense is injured. So doesn't it come down to, hey, it's just a part of the schedule on where you're going to face that. Like 22, don't you agree, was an anomaly where you had the same 22 in September starting that you had in February on the 14th when he started in the Super Bowl? You don't see that, Merrill. Look at your 17th Super Bowl. You didn't have a left tackle. You didn't have a middle linebacker. And you didn't even have an MVP quarterback playing. And you guys still ended up going on and winning it. So
you even lost your kicker. And
you had everything going wrong, and you still won.
And they picked up Jake Elliott from the practice squad of the Bengals, and he was a catalyst. He won the game with a 61-yarder against the Giants that changed the season. So that was sheer luck that he was out there and you were able to get him when Sturgis got cut or got hurt. But I don't know. It's you're right. That year everybody got hurt. So there's no right or wrong to this thing. Of course, it does pay. You have a much better chance of winning if you do stay healthy. It's rare that a backup quarterback can come in like Nick Foles and play the best 3 games of his life, including the Super Bowl, which was the best game of his life. That's a rarity, but it just happened.
Merrill, you're right. The risk reward. I mean, do I want to get Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown injured in a Jets game in a preseason? Or would I rather at least take the gamble of someone saying this to me? Well, he got hurt in week 4 of the regular season. I would not that I want either, but I would much rather go, well, at least it mattered. I don't want to get my players injured when it doesn't matter. I mean, holy cow, that's like walking out of your house and getting hurt. I mean, I don't want those guys. So I probably agree with you because, again, too, that you're looking at risk reward with that. Let me go over to Nick Sirianni here. You're obviously hearing it. What's going on in the city? You're hearing a lot of the negativity that's going on. They want him replaced. You're hearing a lot of people putting it on him. I think it comes with the territory of being the Philadelphia Eagle head coach.
Yep.
Okay. But in your opinion, unjust, warranted, expected? I mean, they're 2-2. It's not like they're 0-4, which is true here. How do you see how people are looking? Now the media, you have Marcus Hayes, who came on last week, is saying that it's time to start talking about firing Nick Sirianni. This is the Philadelphia Inquirer now. This isn't some hammerhead like me saying it. That's Marcus, who I have great respect for. How do you see all this?
Actually, he concluded that column by saying he wouldn't fire Nick.
Okay.
He said the Nick watch is on. And, somebody texted me, a friend, and he said to me, are Nick and Doug both on the hot seat? And I said, yes. And so are probably 26 other coaches. That comes with the territory. And in Philadelphia, you lose a couple of games and look bad doing so. It's time to start thinking about a coach. He's had a couple of decisions that I have second guessed. Go for it on 4th down. Don't go for it. Try the field goal, whatever. But they're not going to fire Nick Sirianni right now. I mean, Nick Sirianni is here for the season. This is not Jeffrey Lurie's style. In the time that Jeffrey Lurie's been the owner, only one coach has been fired before the end of the season, and that was Chip Kelly. In the next to the last week, got up at his Monday press conference and said, well, I don't have anything to do with personnel. And Jeffrey had just about had it, and he couldn't get him out the door fast enough. So that was the only coach that he's ever fired with a game left. And it just doesn't happen here. Jeffrey will wait and evaluate the season with Howie and decide what do we have to do to get better next year. And if that is replacing the head coach, when that will be their decision. But I don't believe anything's going to happen till the season ends. And they could have a disappointing season, and the two of them can get together and say, hey, Nick's a good head coach. This is not on Nick. This happened, that happened, this happened. So they're not going to make rash in the middle of the season decisions. As far as the fans are concerned, Dan, I think they're the greatest fans in the world. I love them. They are so passionate. They love this team so much. But with love comes suffering, and with suffering comes change. Let's figure this thing out. So it's either the coach or the quarterback. You don't hear anybody say, let's get rid of the left guard. That doesn't happen.
I'll echo off what you just said here, and I'll expand on this then. And you tell me, you're around these guys. It's being reported. And again, this is people from 35,000 feet sometimes saying these kind of comments, or trying to dissect and be a psychiatrist when you hear a guy say something. You know how people can expand off that stuff, Merrill. I mean, it looks like people are reporting that, Jalen Hurts and the head coach, they can't stand one another. Do you buy into that?
No. I speak to Jalen probably more than any member of the media. I have a chance to chat with him in the locker room, and he's always been very candid with me. He's never said anything negative about Nick Sirianni. And Nick praises Jalen Hurts and defends him at times. But I haven't personally seen anything that would tell me that they're at odds with one another. That's the truth.
Couple more questions for you, Merrill. Are you more concerned about what do you think? Because right now it's the quarterback and it's the defense that are wobbling. And I'll use that word, wobbling. You're 2-2. It's not a disaster, but it's wobbling. You get a great performance like New Orleans on the road, and you get a dud like that. And Tampa is not a great team, but they're well coached. I mean, there's some great coaches. We had a brand new coordinator that was his first coordinator, first 4 games that he's ever had, Liam Cohen. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield has been a reclamation project that has panned out. What do you think is your biggest concern moving forward? The defense getting better or Hurts getting better?
Everything getting better. Everything. I think if they improve their fundamentals this week and come out Sunday, a week from Sunday, against the Cleveland Browns fast, they've got to come roaring out of the locker room and not take a breath until they move back into the locker room at halftime. If they go all out and put some points on the board, they're going to get back in the win column and they're going to right the ship, because the following week they have the Giants and the following week they have the Bengals, and these are certainly winnable games. So I think the key is just get back, do what you do best, and win. That's what I think it is. I think it's not one thing; it's a lot of things where the Eagles are not playing up to the level that we expect.
Do you think that offense misses Lane more? Or do you think it misses AJ more?
Both. If you know what's crazy, Dan, I don't have the stat with me, but if you look at the games that Lane has started and the record, and
it's like 68% versus like 39% or something.
Incredible. He makes a big difference. He makes a big difference. Now, I mean, the other linemen are all playing well. Jordan Mailata's playing well. He's a great player. And the center, I heard John Ritchie say the other day that he's just been wowed by the things that Cam Jurgens is doing. They're great.
I projected he would make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he may. He may already. So he'll be back. He should be fine. He went out because of the heat. The heat was oppressive and did drain guys, and they needed some IVs. But he'll be back. He's a terrific player. Mailata's a terrific player. Landon Dickerson's a terrific player. On the other side, you have Lane, who is maybe and probably the best right tackle in all football.
I have to ask you 2 more, if you can. Can I get 2 here for you?
Oh yeah, one thing. And the other guy who's going to come back, you probably haven't heard his name much, but he's probably going to come back. He's going to practice this coming week, and they have 21 days in which to activate him. And he's a terrific young player, and that is the safety Sidney Brown. He should be. He'll help. He'll help.
Are you surprised with Brandon Graham's play?
No, nothing Brandon Graham ever does will surprise me.
Man, he's the best D lineman right now.
He is. He is. He's amazing. Vic says, Brandon, you're not on a ceremonial tour. You're playing. You know, he says this is his last year, but that could change too. He still can play at the highest level.
He's really played great football.
Yeah.
Have you been surprised? I asked you this the last time you were on, and I have, and maybe it's because it's a me thing here, not a you thing, because you saw the kid at Penn State. Man, I think he's better than Shady McCoy. I think he's the best back that you have had here in Philly. I mean, Westbrook was so versatile and dual threat, could catch the ball, could run the ball, could block. But when he gets in open space, I mean, Merrill, he outruns everything. I mean, I've been really stunned that guy has been who he has. Have you been surprised?
I've been impressed. I expected him to be great because he was great at Penn State. The problem with the Giants is he's been behind not even average offensive lines that were subpar. But I think behind the Eagles' offensive line, he can do it all. I'm not ready after 4 games to say that he's better than Shady McCoy, because Shady McCoy will be honored here in a couple of weeks and go into the Eagles Hall of Fame. He is a great back, and he did it for several years. So do I think that someday he could stand there and be right there with the best? Yeah, but I'm not about to take Shady off his perch quite yet.
I saved this last one here for you because Gary Player is a friend of ours. And I asked him what the hardest hole was at Marion. And I want you to tell me what you think the hardest hole is at Marion.
The first hole. Because
yes.
Sitting there under the awning on the veranda watching you as you tee off. And we honored Scott and I, our wonderful head pro, last Friday night at a dinner. And Scott talked about the fact that, he was only glad that he wasn't left-handed because everybody stares at you. My wife teed off there. She almost had a nervous breakdown. So you just hit it from there. It's not the hardest in terms of the way it's set up. I mean, you can get an easy bogey there, but it's a little bit frightening,
and it's narrow. I mean,
dog lays a little to the right.
Yeah, because Gary, when I was on in Tampa, he has a place down in Naples, and so I talk to him every now and then, and the Black Knight and all that. He has a really great brand. He sends me golf clubs sometimes. He sent me a wedge, and so I text him and I go, Merrill Reese is the voice of the Eagles, and he plays at Marion. He goes, oh, my God, it's one of the old school second shot golf courses of all time. It's one of the great. Is it a Bob Ross course?
No, it's a Hugh Wilson course.
It's a Hugh Wilson course, okay. And he said that it's narrow as heck, and when the U.S. Open rough is up, it's impossible when you get it in the rough to get it out. It's a bogey no matter what. He said it's a shot maker's golf course, and I go, all right. So I'm going to ask him what the toughest one. He goes, I'll tell you what, every time I'm on that first tee, I go, I don't know what it is, man. Every eyeball on the planet is watching you, man. And he goes, you pucker up a little bit when you're on that first tee.
You know what? The truth of the matter is they probably don't. They're probably really not watching us. They're eating their lunch. They're eating their dinner. But they're there. Now, if Gary Player's there, they're watching him. But I don't think anybody cares what Merrill and Cindy Reese are doing on the first hole.
I think that's not true, but way to go, Merrill, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You'll have a bye week this week. I'm sure you're hearing it all right now, but thank you so much for finding time. Thank you again, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. It's always fun being on with you.
You got it. That is the great Merrill Reese, and I so appreciate him coming aboard, the legendary voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. It is always great getting him on. Please hit the like button here, guys. Don't forget, we will have on tomorrow, Doc Walker at 4:30. My CTE was kicking. Thank you, Xander. We will have Mark Holmes, who's going to take victory laps. Philly 500 is going to take the walk of shame. Okay? He's going to take the walk of shame. And there you go. Look, M. Reyes feels better about his life. Merrill is giving you all the things you want to hear and things you always hear, especially with the media in Philly. And you know what? Someone will go, Sills, why would I kill Merrill? I know what Merrill is. He's the voice of the Eagles. He's not going to talk shit on him. Why would I want to beat him down? Why would I beat him down? It's a different perspective. Plus, I'm not shitting on Merrill Reese. Okay, I'm not. Merrill says something, that's his opinion. I'm running with it. Not my opinion. I think Hurts stinks right now. Okay, but I think, Chips and Birds is right. Merrill's seen it all. He's probably seen the peaks and valleys. Well, I wouldn't go so much that I'm a gentleman, MG2. I'm a gentleman to certain people. Like M. Reyes, he can kiss my ass. Okay? M. Reyes can kiss my ass. Okay? Yeah, I mean, I got to get M. Reyes back, by the way, because he's got a victory lap and he's got a kudo on me today. Okay? So the 70-75 Eagles, the white helmet, green wing Eagles. Hey, Forrest, I love that helmet. Hey, have they ever worn that in the Jeffrey era? Have they wore that white helmet ever during the Jeffrey Lurie era, that white helmet? Okay? And they've never worn that. Diego, they've never worn the white helmet, huh? Make me a sandwich. Very close to getting a second victory lap, M. Reyes. Hey, very close to getting a second one. He's learning. See what we do here like we did with Xander? I wouldn't put Xander on 5 days a week. Look at him now. He's a big fucking media star. He's a media mogul now. Holy shit, this guy's like he's like junior Elon Musk now. Look at him talking shit. My aunt's like, holy cow, this guy's going in on somebody, huh? This guy uses filthier language than you. I'm like, good. I know. She goes, man, he was really mad at the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. I go, yeah, I don't know what happened to him. This guy like Dr. Frankenstein came in. Something happened, man. Okay. How you doing? Sills, what's the chances the Eagles trade for Jalen Phillips? 0. Okay? 0. Gooby. I used to be a TaylorMade guy. But the new Cirxon MKZ2 irons are the best I've ever hit. Must have a great sweet spot. You should go hit some on the range. How about this one? Let me show you this, guys. Now, I broke the stand. Okay? Here, wait. So check it out. See if you can read it. Third place. The third wait. It's the 23rd annual NFL Alumni Charity Golf Classic. November, it was 2006. I finished third. Hey, done. Big Sills finished third. Look at that. You know what I shot? Guess what I shot? I forget who won. You remember that baseball player? That baseball player won. He shows up to every goddamn golf tournament and wins them all. It was a baseball guy. 82. What are you, nuts? Big Sills shot a 69. I shot a 73, 70, 69, then I went 69, and I got third place. Big Sills could hit that thing, baby. Country Mile. By the way, I use illegal clubs. Hey, how many people in here golf? Yeah, no. Hey, that's a good one here. Hey, everybody in Philly should love this, man. You guys root for second and third place. This got to be right up your alley. You guys don't root for Lombardies anymore. Okay, so you root for being on the podium, right? This is like a championship trophy to some people in Philly, right? This is a championship trophy. Finishing third. Hey, 14-3. 14-3. All right. Our next little adventure. First month of the season. Our evaluations on your players and how they've played so far. Bottom of the hour, we will have on Mark Holmes. He's going to take a victory lap. Okay, he's going to take a victory lap. And Philly 500. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Hit the like button. Philly 500 and Mark Holmes, unfortunately, is going to be with us at the bottom of the hour. So you better buckle up. You better buckle up. He's going to take his victory lap. Okay, so wait a minute here. So the Fox or CBS Sports has just come out with their Week 5 power rankings for quarterbacks. Right there. Week 5 power rankings for your quarterbacks. And they read, number 1. Oh, wait. Let's do it from 10 up. Okay? Let's do it from 10 up. Reyes. Here we go. Dude, this guy has only played 2 weeks. From the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. This is kind of good. Better. Wait a minute. Hey, James Jones. Are you in here, James Jones? James Jones. Are you in here? Okay? Are you in here? Jaden Daniels is number 9. Okay? By the way, he's the best quarterback rated in the NFC East. Number 8, Baker Mayfield. Number 7, Joe Burrow. Number 6, this is insane, Patrick Mahomes. This is fucking hilarious. Number 5, DJ Stroud. Number 4, Sam Darnold. Number 3, Brock Purdy. Told you he's better than your boy. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 1, say it with me, Josh Allen. What happened to Hurts? Where's your boy Hurts? Where's that turnover machine? What happened? Okay, what happened? What happened? Hey, I thought golf belonged on it too. Josh Allen. God, that guy's a great football player. Hurts is a turd. Hey, and your head coach sucks. Fake news. This guy thinks a dude in 22 games with 27 turnovers is fake news. That's fake news? And he's 13-8. Baker Mayfield's won more games in the last year and a half than what Hurts has won. What happened? What happened? Hey, Niner. These guys don't want to face it. Since the start of last year when this guy got his money, okay, he's been terrible. Get this. This guy here says, I've never seen somebody like Sills and that Patrick Mark celebrate. Who's Patrick Mark? Dude, put me in a room with somebody I fucking know. Patrick Mark? Who's that? Celebrate a team doing bad. Celebrating a team doing bad? No. I've just been telling you, your boy stinks for 4 years and that he was a one-year wonder. And you don't want to believe it. Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder. He's a decent player. He's a one-year wonder. He's a one-year wonder. He hasn't proven any. He was okay in 21. He was great in 22. He was terrible in 23, and he's terrible now. I don't know. What else do you want? How many more years are we going here? How many more years do we got here? Hey, I may have a second grade. What's this say here? I may have a second grade reading level. Your quarterback has no shot at being great. He's a turd. One-year wonder. Damn, that hurts. Hurts is a one-year wonder. Say it with me. How many people believe now Jalen Hurts? Wait. Okay. Xander, this is going to be another one of those emails because this will probably take another year. How many people believe that Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder? How many people believe Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder? How many people believe? Are you afraid to answer? Tony goes, so far, yes. Wow, Tony with balls. Fluke season. Ooh. I know some of you don't want to do this. Here. Okay. This guy thinks a generational talent is 13-9 and 22 games and 27 turnovers is a generational talent. So are my balls. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is terrible. Okay? I feel awful. I have to. You know what? I'm starting to, maybe I need to stop. Maybe I do. Maybe I just need to stop, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. Seriously, man. I think I need to stop because I don't want guys like Em Reyes to cry and shit out loud, and I can't have it. Can't have it. There's too much crying going on now. I can't wait to get Philly 500 in here. Generational. Hey. Sales of Hurts stays in this system. Yes. Moving back to RPO? No. Bob, agreed. Okay. Agreed. Kimberly. Hurts is stuck. The guy, but we are sick or we're stuck with him. Like a bad haircut. Kimberly. Let me ask you something, Kim. Kim, you ever been with a dude? Pays for the meal. Terrible in bed. Has no conversation. That's not one redeeming quality you like about him. He's annoying. Oh my God. This gets too good in here. Well, Kim, we fucking need you as the GM of the Eagles then. There's ball players who are obsessed with the game. Then there's great athletes who happen to be good at football. Allen, former Hurts, ladder. Hey, I don't, but he's letting bad affect him. Lucius, got it. Worst thing that happened to the Eagles was the 22 season. I think the worst thing that ever happened, Brian, to Hurts was the 22 season. The metric rise created unrealistic expectations, turned them into front runners with no backbone. Hey, Brian, you gave Hurts the money and you rose the expectations on him. Brian, I think it was the money that you gave him. Everybody in Philly said, well, he's a $20 million, he's a $50 million guy, so he has to be the guy. Because you're putting your faith in the ownership and you're putting your faith in the general manager that they made the right call again. Looks to me like, get this, you had two really good football players. Two guys, get this, isn't it funny? Both of them finished second in the Bell Award for the MVP. Both of them helped get teams to a Super Bowl. And then with a matter of 3 years, you're systematically dissecting them into being something they're not. Oh, boy. Cowboy fans are starting to roll in. Mark Holmes at the bottom of the hour. Sills, I told you fans would be calling for Kenny Flickett by the bye week. Uh-oh. Better buckle up here because Brian might kick someone's ass in here. You're right, Sills. He's been atrocious quarterback, and his fans are deplorable. Jalen Hurts his butt. Oh, fuck. Brian, always remember, you've got to finish it off with, and I want to punch his face. Okay? You got to finish it off with, and I want to punch him in the face. Okay? Wow. Wow. Uh, 1 year wonder. It's not so much paying Hurts was wrong. It's paying him and thinking 2022 would be repeated in 23. I thought they would. I thought they would just keep going on with what they did in 22 without the same coaches and team around him. No, but Forrest, I thought he would at least play the same style. They didn't do that. Fact, Sills, 1 year wonder. Hurts is a 1 year one. Oh, by the way, real quick. So we decided on this, right? To replace that bum, Nick Sirianni, we got Brian Johnson, Bobby Slowick, Joe Brady, Todd Monken, and John Gruden. I'm posting that after the show. My take is John Gruden. Yeah, but Sills, what about the emails? I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Hiring Brian Johnson. No. Ben Johnson. I'm sorry, Xander. Ben Johnson. OC from the Lions. Hey, this is all you need to know about Dick Reyes. Nick is God. Hey, Kim. John Gruden. Hey, wait a minute. Jason, Lord, if John Gruden could be the head coach, I'd go nuts. So wait a minute. Let me get this right. Andy Reid hired a guy who was accused of a gang rape to kick for him. I mean, where are we going here? Where are we going here? Hey, can I tell you why this makes sense in Philly? Well, if you can cover for a guy who sexually harassed an employee at the Philadelphia Phillies executive suite, you can cover for John Gruden. Can't you? Didn't you guys hire a dog killer who was in prison? Pressing plates? Nobody thought he'd ever work again? Didn't you do that? I must have missed that because I broke that story. I'm the one that broke that story nationally. John Gruden coached in Philly. You guys signed a guy who was considered one of the most deplorable human beings on the planet in Michael Vick. Did you not? Look at this. This is fucked up, but true. I'll take a racist if that means the Eagles win. Samuel, it's actually not funny, but it is. Says, I don't care about Gruden's emails, but can he still coach? Raiders weren't special under his direction. Hey, Joe, can you name me a coach since John Gruden was there the first time when they went to the Super Bowl with Bill Callahan? Who built that team? John Gruden did. The Gruden Buccaneer team that played against the Raiders, John Gruden had built that Raider team and stockpiled that Raider team. Remember, Bill Callahan was his assistant coach. He was the guy that got Rich Gannon to turn his career around. So when John Gruden played and coached in that Super Bowl in San Diego, he was coaching with two teams that he systematically rebuilt one and built another. Okay? John Gruden is the last coach to put the Raiders in the Super Bowl. He didn't. Bill Callahan did, but that was his team. Hey, if you're going to do that shit for Tony Dungy and say John Gruden had a lot of components on defense, and that was really Dungy's team, well, that team that he beat in the Super Bowl was John Gruden's team, not Bill Callahan's team. You forget that. He was the coach prior to Bill Callahan taking over. He built the Raiders into a Super Bowl team. John Gruden has won an AFC championship and an NFC championship. How many coaches have done that in their careers? And a Super Bowl. Hurts ain't shit. He's exactly what they drafted him, a quality backup. I'm sick of this bullshit. He finessed the Eagle organization. No, I think the Eagle organization jumped the gun. Okay? Hey, Philly, what does racism have anything to do with winning? I don't give a fuck who he is. NFL doesn't. They put wife beaters and abusers of kids. They don't care. Why would you care? What are you, some moralist? Honestly, what do you care? You going to go to dinner with John Gruden? Jesus criminy. I love it's like the people trying to tell you who to vote for. What's my political beliefs or my religious beliefs have anything to do with you? What's it got to do with you? It's got nothing to do with you. Nothing. I'm talking about winning here. Knows him personally. I sure do. So does Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp swears by him, vouches for him. Warren Sapp ain't the nicest guy on the planet, too. Sapp loves him. Anybody who's ever played for Gruden. Derek Brooks loves him, too. Okay? I would take John Gruden to be the next head coach. John Gruden to be the next head football coach of the Eagles. John Gruden. Didn't you hire a guy who was in prison for killing a dog? All them dogs? No, I must have missed that. Did you not give him an opportunity? Like I said, I'm the one that nationally broke that story. That was a heinous hire, according to many. I loved it. Gave him a second opportunity. Are you trying to get this? John Gruden put the Raiders in the Super Bowl. And then his team with the Buccaneers beat them in San Diego. Here's my list of 5 guys. Before I get the guys on here, Ben Johnson, Lions OC, Bobby Slowick, Texans, Joe Brady, Buffalo OC, Todd Monken, Ravens, and John Gruden. We can't have John Gruden email. You think the NFL gives a shit about racism? If they did, they would have put Kaepernick back in the league. They didn't give a fuck about that. Colin Kaepernick? Yeah, we believe in civil rights and justice. Then why'd you 86 the guy out of the league? Because he was bad for business. You didn't care about Ray. No, somebody would have hired him. The NFL puts lowlifes in the league like Tyreek Hill, Adrian Peterson. If OJ were eligible after he murdered those two people, he'd have been activated the following week. Why? Because he helps the Bills win. You're under some sort of illusion that the NFL has some sort of civil justice league. No, you know what they do? They tell saps like Mark Holmes. They tell suckers like Mark Holmes. I can't believe what I'm going to do here. This is going to be some sort of crazy-ass victory lap here with this guy. He was laughing at me today. Philly 500 probably wants to throw up right now. So let's bring him on, Philly 500 and the notorious Mark Holmes here. I can't wait to hear this bullshit, what's going on here with this Cowboy team.
Hang on for just a second.
Now, wait a minute. What's this drink for here?
Oh, I'm enjoying myself.
Oh, how could you be enjoying yourself? Beating the what? The great Giants?
Ooh, no, just seeing you guys imploding.
Once again, he does not care that his team wins or loses. All he cares about are the Eagles. It just did perfect point. It shows it again, does it not? He comes in, he don't care. He don't care that the Giants, they almost beat the Cowboys. Cowboys got no run game. They can't stop the run. He's just happy the Eagles lost. That's pathetic.
Mark, is that true?
I'm not going to say that I'm happy that my team is not a Super Bowl champion. I'm not. But seeing Eagle fans do the walk of shame at least makes me feel better. See, Sil, you know what's so funny, buddy? Yesterday, I'm dealing with a flooded basement here on the East Coast. We got all this rain and everything else. And my cell phone goes off, and it's a text message from Philly 500. And Philly says, what, Sills doesn't want us on? I didn't get a link today. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's Tuesday. He's like, oh, that's why nobody was here this morning when I got in. I packed my lunch so I could do the Sills show. He's all fucked up. He doesn't even know what day it is.
That's true.
With you.
That's true.
I'm going to start with you here then. Listen, the Buccaneer game knocked you off tilt a little bit, didn't it? By the time that game ticked the last seconds, how disappointed were you in that effort?
It wasn't disappointing. It was aggravating. It was literally angry, because what that game showed, at least from that game by itself, they haven't fixed anything from last year. What have you fixed? Everything is the same. It's all the same problems. So it's more, to me, it's more angry than like disappointed or sad we lost. It was like, no, I'm getting a little sick and tired of this. I'm getting a little sick and tired of the coach. I'm getting a little sick and tired of my quarterback can't stop turning the ball over. I'm getting sick of all these rookies that we draft. First round picks all over that that defensive line don't do nothing. I'm getting a little tired, very tired of this whole Vic Fangio scheme for the last 3 years that does not change ever. It's always the same thing. So I'm just a little bit at the end of the rope with this stuff. I'm ready to clean house.
What the fuck are you? What are you fucking smiling at?
I'm just enjoying this because I was sitting here reminiscing about his schedule picks, where he literally said they were going to be 4-0, that this was going to be a different team that was going to go down there and kick Tampa Bay's ass.
They should have been 3-1. They should be 3-1 right now. So how's 4-0 that hard to imagine if they should be 3-1?
Billy, I got to ask you a question. Do you think Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder?
Yet to be determined. If I'm being honest, yet to
Well,
be
I can
determined.
say this about the Dak Prescott. He ain't a winner.
No. I mean,
I
he's
tell you what,
he's more of a
he's
winner
not
than
doing
Dak.
27 turnovers since the beginning of last year.
Listen,
he was okay without
I'm
Kellen
starting to
Moore.
feel like-
Look, he
what
actually
did your-
played
what did
well
your-
with
feel
Kellen
like
Moore.
Mark-
How about
listen,
your guy?
all the turnovers, all the problems Jalen
I'm starting
Hurts
to feel
has,
like Mark
he's-
Holmes here. I have no defense.
Yeah, but the
How's
thing
that Kellen Moore
about
working
his
out for
guy is his guy doesn't have turnovers. His quarterback's so great, $60 million. How many playoff
He's only
games
had
has he
2
won?
this year.
2 wins in the playoffs.
No,
Why
no,
don't you hold your quarterback
And
responsible
you
for
know, your guy
2
only has
wins
2 too.
in 9
You know Hurts only has 2, right?
years? What? How
Your guy is 2
many
and 3.
playoff wins has your my guy's only played 4 or 5 years?
Oh.
Your guy's been
Well,
there
I
like
tell
10
you what,
years.
He
Why
won't add
can't
to
your
that
guy
winning
win?
this year.
Why can't your guy win? Why can't he win? Why can't he win in the
But,
playoffs?
but see,
Why
we're
can't he
not-
win? No,
we're
answer.
not-
Why
stop
can't he win
deflecting,
at
Joe.
home
Hey, Philly,
in the playoffs?
Philly.
He was a number
We have
1
gone
seed,
through-
lost. Number 2 seed, lost. He stinks. So don't come here telling me stuff about Dak Prescott. He stinks.
Here's what
I
I'm
would
gonna say,
take
Philly.
Jalen Hurts and
He
the
ain't gonna let me get a
27
word in.
turnovers in 2 years than I would take Dak Prescott. I don't want that bitch boy on my team. That's how
All
I
right,
feel.
Can I actually
F
speak and say
Dak
something here?
Prescott.
Or
F
is this
them
just
Cowboys.
Philly
Them
just loses his
bitch-ass
mind?
mother humping team. I hate that stinking team. That team's a
Hey,
bunch of
I'm
mother
gonna
humpers
pull a
with that
CBS
one
on
star.
people
Just
here.
give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5
Get your
minutes. That's all I
Cowboys
need.
ass out of here. They stink.
I'm gonna pull a CBS on one of you guys in here.
You're gonna be in his.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh, but look, I'm laughing so hard. I forgot what I was going to say, but you know,
Well,
it's
you don't
funny
have anything to
because-
say.
No,
'cause
no.
it's the
Well,
Cowboys.
here's the difference, though. Here's the difference because you asked me, "Oh, are you happy about this?" I went in knowing that my team was going to be bad. I said, I mean, my team did nothing to try and help themselves get better. Nothing.
Oh, you did
The
not. You thought
expectations
they were
were.
going to
No,
Super
look,
Bowl.
they weren't
Stop.
saying that the Cowboys should win the
Stop.
division,
Stop.
did they? They didn't say that, did
You
they?
thought that.
They said
Yes,
the
you did.
Cowboys suck because Jerry Jones doesn't do shit. But here's the thing. I'm going to give you actually all jokes aside. All jokes
Hit the
aside.
like button.
It
everyone.
is
Go ahead.
funny because about a month ago, I kept hearing everybody saying, "Isn't it great that the Eagles have all their players locked up for the next couple of years?"
I said
That we've got look, that we don't have Cowboy problems where you haven't signed CD or Dak or anything like that. We've
I didn't know
got
that
all
was a
our
bad thing.
guys paid for. And you
I
know
don't-
what?
I didn't know that was a bad thing.
All
Why is that a
all
bad
your
thing?
guys ain't worth shit, apparently.
Why is that a bad thing? Oh, really?
I'm just
Really?
looking at it. And
Oh,
look,
okay.
and you ain't listen.
How's
You
that-
may
how's-
talk about my
how's-
man
how's-
Micah Parsons.
Who's
Micah
your running back?
Parsons
Who's your running
literally
back again?
put a bomb
Junior
off
Jones,
in your locker
Gomez?
room, bro.
Where's Junior Jones Gomez, the running back? Where's he at? Where's your
Junior
running back? Yeah,
Oh, but
where
listen,
is he? Where
you know
where
what's
is
funny?
where is Fabio Luis? Where is he at?
Who?
Where's his running back?
Who?
That's right, who? Because they got no running backs. It doesn't
Who?
matter what their
But
name
here's
is.
how-
Fabio Luis.
But you know, Philly,
don't know
you know
his
what is
name.
so bad? You want to hear what is so bad? It used to be you could talk about Mozzie being a bust. Mozzie sucks. You know what's funny? In the last 2 weeks, Mozzie's
stinks.
played really well.
Really?
Mozzie's stats
Really?
are
He
literally
really well?
identical to
Oh
Jordan
my
Davis.
God.
No, I'm serious. I'm telling you.
So Jordan
He had a
Davis is
tackle
good
for
too,
a
is what you're
loss.
saying.
Last game, he had 3 tackles
So-
and 3 assists.
So Jordan
including one
Davis
for a
is good
His
now in your eyes.
numbers,
Against the
No,
In your
fucking
eyes, Jordan
Giants.
Davis is good.
Hey, a wins. Hey, bro. Okay. So we're now not looking at. Now we're grading games of teams.
Are you
played.
suggesting the
You
Giants
get
have a good
mollywopped by
roster?
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that you all thought you were going to kick the teeth
The
in, right?
Bucks since December 6th of last year are 11-4. They're not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah, and you
They're
guys
better
are
than
and
Dallas.
you guys are 3-8. That's bad.
All right, Junior. I got a
Playoff win.
question for you, though. Cowboy
Who
wise.
playoff wins?
Oh no,
I
we're
got a
fucked up.
question for you.
I'm just
It
trying
is-
to enjoy this week.
By the way, it is a real thing. Talking to Steven,
Mhm,
getting a text back with an emoji of a smiley face. This
mhm,
Devontae Adams thing.
mhm.
It looks like it could be between Jets, KC, and the
Dallas.
Cowboys. Your take on that, and then the Dallas Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, look, if you get CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams,
Oh,
you
geez.
would have the best receiving core in the East.
Well, here's the problem, and here's
Well, they
where
froze
there
him.
may be a sense of urgency. All jokes. Here's the problem for us now is Dalvin Cook has got some kind of infection in his knee. He's already out for this week and may miss a couple of games. Okay, he's your next most experienced receiver, and there's been something going on with him the whole time because he left training camp a week early and came back to Dallas, and they didn't say what it was. He missed time in training camp with his knee and so on. So now you're looking at it and saying you only have one weapon, and that is CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys, of course, don't like to spend money, and Davante Adams is $27 million. But the Cowboys have traded with the Raiders, I want to say 10 times. So there's a relationship that's there.
Amari Cooper's the last one.
Right. So there is a relationship there that might end up being good. Now, I don't know if the Cowboys, and maybe you know more about Stephen Jones, the Cowboys don't want to spend money. They've just paid the money, of course, to CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, although maybe you're not looking at paying Micah Parsons at the moment because of how he's going right here. But
Davante Adams is a steal at $27 million.
At 27, yeah, I agree with you on that. But remember, we're talking about the Cowboys that said we couldn't afford Derrick Henry, who was only $9 million. So I would love to see it because I look at it and say Dak and CD need another target out there to spread the ball around.
Washington,
you get him there, it'll help us.
Washington is also another potential landing spot for Davante Adams because the Raiders would like to trade. Tom Telesco's been on this show, Philly, about 2 or 3 times. He was the GM of the Chargers when he was last on, and they're actively moving him. Washington is also a potential landing spot. You'd have Terry McLaurin, and you would have Davante Adams for that kid. And by the way, I predicted that the Commanders would win the East. Right now, they're in first place. They're 3-1.
Yeah, but look at the best team right now.
They're the best team.
They're probably the healthiest. They are
the healthiest, and they have a young guy. But thus far, they've had a pretty easy schedule. They haven't exactly played.
I don't hear you like gloating over your fucking team though, Mark. Like Philly has problems.
What have I gloated over?
Philly's problems are injury, new faces, schemes. We all knew that this was gonna. What's your excuse for being 2-2? And get this: if you would have lost that Giants game, and now also too, you got a movie star like that movie star Michael Parsons. Don't you have a problem with your guy sitting in a fucking booth with Darius Slay going, "Hey, honey, what's your foot size?" It was the gayest thing I've ever seen.
So you know how it used to be back in the day. But unfortunately, this is the namby-pamby. We're worried about concussions and hitting the quarterback. This is a new league and new kids, man. This shit doesn't make any sense. Am I happy about it? No. But I will say this much. What he did, you guys, a lot more than what it did us. For Darius Slay, after getting beat by
Philly
by
fans
Tampa Bay,
hold
to go through there and kind of laugh about his guy.
Philly fans hold their teams more accountable for their players'
actions. That's very true.
That's true.
Very, very.
And for him to have to walk his shame and try and basically back it up and say, "Oh man, I'm the captain." That might be the locker room divide that might blow this whole thing up for you guys. And
Philly,
Kellen Moore, how's that Kellen Moore thing working for you?
What'd you make of that Slay thing with Parsons, man? What was your takeaway with that?
I didn't like it at all. I don't understand. During the season, going on the Rivals podcast, first of all, but to me, the bigger issue to me was I felt like if I was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I would feel that my man was kind of laughing at me. That's what bothered me. That's what bothered me the most.
That's exactly it.
And I have a problem with that because I thought Slay should have stood up for him a little more. Like, he could have said, "Listen, man, he was in New Orleans. That was a big game." Like he laughed about it. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, and that was the main reason why. So no, I mean, of course, I don't like it.
To add to that, let me add to that. I don't know if you watch Micah Parsons' podcast and stuff, but there was already a beat with him and C.J. Gardner because basically Micah Parsons the week before was talking about who's this guy talking about New Orleans, this, that, and the other. And so CJ is going through and pointing out to all the people that he's gotten jerseys and everything else from. So for then Micah to go through and get your own teammate to go ahead and laugh at you because you talk about Oh, I'd be pissed off. And I see Lord Brunson and everybody else is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? People,
Yeah, of course. Nobody liked it. But we
No,
like.
but wait. Mark, the only person that would like that would be like loser Cowboy fans, because you know why? You don't hold anybody accountable. I mean,
No,
Michael Parsons is not focused on the most important thing. You know what that is? Fucking winning.
Winning. And that's why I look at the season where he's got 1 sack right now, and we're looking at all this stuff. I can guarantee you the next year
he's got 1 sack.
He's got 1 sack. Yeah, 1 sack. That was week 1.
I think he got like 10
you got the injury. I can guarantee, knowing the Joneses, just like CeeDee Lamb did, he'll be playing on the 5th-year option.
I would 5th-year option his ass too.
Yeah, it's already done. I wouldn't be in a rush to go ahead and hurry and get him signed. That's the thing the Cowboys do.
Philly bets $100 on the Eagles versus the Cowboys. You down,
I'll
Mark?
bet that. I'll definitely.
I'll send you a 500.
You don't have to send me any money. I'll do it myself.
I'll do that anyway.
I'll do it. I'll do it anyways. We're gonna.
Can I give you guys some good news at least?
What? There's another one here.
Oh.
Dallas Cowboys have a tough schedule. They have Steelers.
Yes. Loss.
Hold on. Yeah. Look at this. Hey,
They're
here's
about
for
to
Mark.
go on a nice losing streak.
Loss.
Maybe.
They lost. There's 6 losses in a row.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
And on the reverse of that,
this is Mark's heyday. This is his.
That's why I'm enjoying this, man. I don't know what next
have
week
another
and the week
drink
after hold.
because you boys stink.
Well, here's the good news for you guys is when you come off your bye, you got the Browns, you got the Giants, you got the Bengals, and then you got the Jags before you play.
It doesn't. All that doesn't matter. To me, none of that.
You get 4 wins. I tell you what, you go 6-2.
Philly.
It doesn't matter. You go 6-2 right there, and then you play the Cowboys.
Listen.
They've got to
address. It does not
defense.
matter. Yeah,
They
it doesn't matter. Because we play down to the competition because we can't get things right. To me, the best thing about coming off this bye, besides being healthy, is the fact that I feel like we're at the end of this thing. If this coach can't make the adjustments after this bye week and this team can't get it going, I think it's over. I think it's over for him. So we're finally at the end of the road with him. He's either going to.
Billy, would you have fired him in the bye?
No, I'd have fired him at last of all season, like I said. But, here's my issue. Before you even fire him, and you want to talk about Jalen Hurts and all his problems, before we can sit there and say, okay, well, Jalen Hurts isn't the quarterback, and we're going to have to move on from him. Let's get Nick Sirianni out of the way of the offense so that we can figure out what we have. We can't figure out what we have when we have a quarterback who probably doesn't like the coach, doesn't trust what he does, goes out on the field, and then tries to play hero ball because he feels like he has to make up for the deficiency of his head coach. So until we figure that out, how are we supposed to know what Jalen Hurts can become and he can't? Because the truth of the matter is, Sills, this coach is calling the plays still. This is his offense. He's still running the show, and it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
You think Jalen Hurts is being held back by Sirianni more than anything else, and that this thing here, and you've got it. They did him a giant disservice by bringing Nick back.
Yeah, I do. I honestly feel like that. Now, listen, it may turn out that Jalen Hurts isn't the guy. Okay, fine. But I can't make that judgment with this head coach. When he goes from, it's Moore's offense, I only call the plays sometimes. When I feel the need, I am calling the plays. So it's like, what is going on here? Clearly you can see when it's Moore's offense and it's Nick's on the field. And I think that if Jalen Hurts doesn't trust the coach, then he's going to feel like he's got to go out there and he's got to do something about it. So I think we got to figure out if the future is this coach. And I think after the bye week, I think this is it. So I think we're finally at the end. That's the best thing about this bye, because I think that if this guy goes 2-4, 2-5, it's over for him.
You think if he would have lost that New Orleans game and he would have lost that Bucs game, they'd have fired him in the bye?
Yeah,
you had to.
I would have.
Wow.
I think so.
Here's
Hey,
the
Mark,
thing.
let me ask.
But let me say something about Kellen Moore. So y'all keep thinking that for whatever reason, everybody always wants to protect Kellen Moore.
Listen. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
No. I'm trying to tell you.
You're trying to. He's already trying to pass the blame off of Dak on to Kellen Moore.
Oh
the
my
offense
God.
that is
Okay.
running.
Here's the problem with you hiring Kellen Moore is you didn't bring Dak Prescott with him. The only time Kellen Moore has looked good as a
so he
coach
could
is
lose
he had
more
Dak
playoff
Prescott.
games?
And it was
So
because Dak
games?
Prescott made up for Kellen Moore's shortcomings. You guys act like, well, why didn't he run Saquon Barkley more than one time after a big run? That's what Kellen Moore does. I tried to tell you, Philly.
He made up for his shortcomings, right? When he threw that pick six versus Green Bay in the playoffs. That was Kellen Moore's fault. And he got crushed in the playoffs.
What you guys did was you went to the team that you literally said stinks in the playoffs, and you get the guy who's been calling the plays for them in the playoffs.
Because you know why?
And figure, he's going to do great here in Philadelphia. That's insanity, bro.
No, because when you took Kellen Moore out of the Cowboys, they still stunk in the playoffs. It didn't change.
Well, I tell you what. My guy was runner-up MVP. How did your guy do last year?
The first number 2 seed to ever lose to a number 7 seed. Your quarterback's biggest accomplishment in the playoffs is he's lost as a number 1 seed and he's lost as a number 2 seed. So how are you going to put that on Moore?
Guess what?
And this will he'll be a 3 seed and lose?
Yet here we are with the same record after you went out there and got Devin White. Went out there and got yourself, made a trade for Dodson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went out there and got what's his name, the edge rusher. I can't even remember his name because he does Huff out there. Let's see, who else have you traded for or signed that's been a bum this year?
They signed Gardner Johnson.
Oh, Gardner Johnson, who literally is getting trashed by his own teammates. How's this stuff working out for all these big signings that you guys did?
It's 4 games in a season.
And how's that elite
How's
defense?
Saquon Barkley doing? How's Saquon Barkley doing?
That's the one saving grace. That's the only reason why Nick still has a job right now. Why did your team
care enough about them winning and go out and get Saquon Barkley?
But that's what we do. So that's expected.
Well, Derrick Henry ran all up your ass.
They didn't say the Dallas Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFC, did they?
And then you know what he did?
They didn't say they were going to win the division,
all up your ass and then drove around the corner to his house. That's what he did.
Hey, Mark, I do have to ask a question here. Dude, hey, I feel like cowboy guy now. I have no answers here, but I do have a question for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So you signed Dak to $60 million.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well,
where
we all know.
Where are you going?
Hold on.
Where are you going with your boy? Where are you going with him?
Hold on. Well, that's the big question. And I'm going to tell you why the Joneses signed Dak Prescott.
Tell me.
And I have to, and maybe you can ask Stephen Jones, because I don't think it's about winning. It's not. It's about getting paid. Because here's what I said. And I said to myself, Dak, why would you sign back with the Cowboys?
That's a loser mentality.
But see, here's the thing. Here's what's crazy is I'm sitting here last night watching the game, and I see Dak Prescott ad for Marvel's what the crazy creature and stuff. Dak Prescott on a Marvel ad on TV.
Great.
Okay. No, listen to me. What I'm saying is I don't see that's what it's all about in Cowboy land. That's why Micah Parsons does his podcast.
See, you can't do that.
I'm not happy about this, but this is what it is in Cowboys.
You're trying to downplay your bullshit and your incompetence at who you are as a Cowboy right now, because get this. Look at Philly. Look at it. Hey, folks, look at the difference between Mark today and Philly. Philly's pissed off. You know what this guy is? He's like, I'm happy we're 2-2. It'll probably be the only day of the year I'll be able to go, yeah. Dude,
it might be because we got a victory this past week and you lost. You ever think about that? I know it was only the Giants.
2 weeks ago, we both had losses, and you came in happy.
No, I wasn't.
You
happy.
did. Go look at the tape.
Last week I literally did the walk of shame. I was you last week, bro. After we got beat by Baltimore.
When the New Orleans Saints went into Dallas and bent you over, and scored 44 points.
Go
on
back
you.
to the tape, Philly. I wasn't happy
And
about it.
you came
Wasn't
in happy because the Eagles lost.
At
Atlanta.
least, well, you know
go
what?
look at the tape.
I tell you
Bet
what.
you over.
As opposed, yeah, they bet it's over. There ain't no doubt. But here's the crazy thing about the NFL, though, is the first 2 weeks, New Orleans looked like world beaters, right? Now they look like Derek Carr's a car crash. First 3 weeks, Buffalo looked like they were great. First 2 weeks, Baltimore looked like shit. Now Baltimore looks like it's a week-to-week league. You don't know what to expect. For all we know, next week, I forgot, you're off, so you won't get a win next week. But when you come back from you might all of a sudden get on a roll with all these, cheap teams that you got in front of you.
Dallas has I bet you the Eagles have a better week than the Cowboys do this coming week.
Well, we are truly beat up. We've got D-Law out, who's going to be gone 4 to 8 weeks.
They're truly beat up, but
So
we're
did the
not.
Eagles. Wait, the Eagles had their
We've
entire
got
offense out.
Micah missing. Parsons is going to be missing probably the
Holy
next 2 weeks at least. We've got Deron Bland. We don't know he's going to come back.
Where's he going?
For whatever reason, Dalvin Cook is just still not ready. I don't know.
Wait. Where's Micah Parsons going? Is he going like to the Oscars? Where's he going? I mean,
he's got a hurt ankle.
I thought he was going to Cannes Film Festival or to the Oscars or something.
I bet he'll show up Monday for his. I'm sure he'll show up Monday for his podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure he will too, man. All right, let me give you this. What are you? I'll give you an opportunity at a mulligan here. Give me your record this year.
I'm still going to be about 10-7.
Philly? Oh, fuck, dude. Don't do it like that. I mean, dude, you look like you got agita. You look right now like you need fucking hey, honestly, guy, you need Bjorski or something here, man. Because
I'm just so aggravated with
you
like,
look it, man. I mean, you're pissed. Why are you so pissed? Why are you so pissed off?
Because nothing changed in terms of what you had to do to fix the problems. You just put new coaches in, brought some couple players in, but then you kept doing the same thing. See, to me, the talent isn't the issue of this roster. I think they've got the talent, but you got to use the guys the right way. How do you go out against Tampa Bay and run Saquon Barkley 10 times in that game when you don't have your two best receivers, right? No, it's not Kellen Moore. You keep saying Kellen Moore. It's not him.
God,
it's the head coach, Nick Sirianni. And he's even admitted it, okay? It's the coach. And you have a head coaching problem. And to me, that's what's aggravating because you can see the talent. You can see what they need to do. When they played New Orleans and they were aggressive on defense, Sills, they shut down a team with good talent. Okay, so you know that they can do good things out on the field, but I mean, you just come out and have the same problems year after year. I'm just frustrated with it. I'm at the end. I feel like we're wasting another season with talented players because the coach is screwing everything up. That's how I feel.
How about this? I wrote down 5 guys. I had 11 dudes that I put for a potential replacement for Sirianni. It's time to start talking about this. I got Ben Johnson, Lions OC.
Yes.
Bobby Slowick, Texans OC.
Those are my top
Joe
2.
Brady, Buffalo OC. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar. And my last one's John Gruden.
Well, I mean, I don't want Gruden, and not because I don't think he's a good coach. I just don't believe that coaches that win somewhere else ever win in another place. How many coaches have won 2 Super Bowls?
Well,
right,
he's won 2. He's won an AFC championship,
right? But he's won one Super Bowl,
and he's won a Super Bowl and an NFC championship.
And if you look at NFL history, I don't know if maybe one coach out of the whole history of the NFL, I don't even know if it's been that, has won a Super Bowl in 2 different places. So I would prefer.
No,
win a Super Bowl. No,
he didn't. He came in second.
No, I don't think anybody has ever done it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So history tells us that don't work out. But the Lions offensive coordinator is very appealing. Him or the Texans would be my choice.
You know why I like Monken, Mark, is because Monken runs the RPO, and it's more to Jalen's skill set of what he did in 22, which made him an MVP, and it's kind of what they do in Baltimore now. The problem with the Eagles, like I told Philly before, they're coaching him horribly, and they're doing the same thing they did to Carson Wentz. They're coaching the greatness out of him. And the thing that made him great was the RPO in 22, not throwing the ball. He wasn't drafted to the Eagles to be a starter. He was drafted to be a backup, but they're trying to turn him into this frontline passer, which he'll never be. Like, get this. People think that the Eagles would have played better if they would have had AJ and Devontae. Well, fuck, they had them last year in Lane and the back end of that schedule, and they went 1-7 with them. To Philly's point, nothing's gotten better. Philly, they would have been a tad bit more competitive against the Bucs, but they had those same guys last year when they went through that nuclear meltdown. This is not just three guys missing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You went into this Buccaneers. The Buccaneers beat you in the playoffs. And you come out, you don't have your two. They crushed you. And you come out and you do the same thing that you did the year before. Okay? And Kellen Moore wasn't there the year before. But Nick Sirianni was. And when it looks similar to the same plays you ran last year, you know who it is. Okay? Nobody's going to convince me that this is Kellen Moore. There's no way in hell. This is Nick Sirianni. And to me, I think that I don't get it. And then the whole defensive scheme. Listen, we've been running Vic Fangio's scheme for 3 years. For 3 years. And under his scheme is the only time I've seen quarterbacks have a half where they go 14 of 15, 38 of 39. Like, I'm so tired of it, Sills. You know, that's not even the Eagles' identity. The Eagles' identity was an aggressive 4-3 defense that used to blitz the hell out of you. Buddy Ryan, Bud Carson, you had Jim Johnson. You know, let's get back to our DNA. Let's get back to what we do. That's how I feel.
See, look at this, and then you look at Mark, and he's like meandering over here.
I feel like Philly 500 is giving up. Have you given up, Philly?
No, I'm not giving up. I'm on a bye week.
No, that's you.
I'm getting it all out. By next week, next Sunday, when we hit the field, I'll be like, all right, we're ready to go. But no, right now, it's bye week. It's Thursday. I mean, Wednesday. So I woke up. I went to work at 5 a.m. on Tuesday. I'm like, man, I haven't heard from Sills. So I'm like, Mark, did Sills? I thought it was Wednesday all day.
Wow. So wait, the Eagles, the Sunday ass beating by the Bucs knocked you off kilt that much.
Yeah, it literally knocked it back in time.
You know, when it wasn't even that.
Well, Mark, you're used to losing, so I understand why.
We didn't lose, bro. You keep missing the point. We at least got a victory in the division. We at least say, hey, Barack Obama was president the last time the Giants beat Dak Prescott. We got at least a good feeling moment. This was you last week beating New Orleans, even though you guys have been ass going into that game.
You mean New Orleans that put up 44 on you?
Well, you know, again,
they put up 12.
We're the Cowboys. We don't sign any free agents, okay? We got a bad quarterback. We got, father time at running back, Zeke Elliott, that we can't put on the field. We don't have the best running back in football like you do.
You don't have any running back in football.
We don't have Howie Vision, the best GM in the world. We don't have genius with Kellen Moore. We don't have Dracula. You guys got, an all-world defensive front.
Philly, what's your problem with Howie?
Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is you have Jordan Davis first-round pick, Jalen Carter first-round pick, Nolan Smith first-round pick. You have all these picks that are first-round, second-round picks, and they're not producing. So at what point?
Kobe Dean.
So what point do you say to Howie, you can't be the talent evaluator anymore? Bryce Huff can't be your big free agent signing to come in and not produce. So to me, I think Howie's great with contracts, with trades. I would not get rid of him, but I think it's time to put somebody who's a talent evaluator in that place. It's just being Unless these guys turn around the season, it's only week 4. But if Nolan Smith goes the whole year with a half a sack or 2 sacks,
listen
not a
to
problem.
you. You're saying it's only week 4, but listen to how you're talking. You're talking like it's been a year and a half of this, and you know it.
I know.
You see, that's why it's aggravating to you because hey, you could say this. Hey, look, man, like when you were 10-1 a year ago and you saw a couple bad games, you were probably like this a year ago. It's going to turn around, man. I mean, 14-3 the year before, you're 10-1. Yet one time you were 24-4 at one time last year. Then the thing blew up. And then that's kind of the frustrating part of this. Yeah, Mark, you would never know what 24-4 in an NFC title is. I mean, the last time you saw that,
you guys would never
honestly,
know what
God, you were
it's like
4.
winning Super Bowls back to back.
Oh, God. When was that?
But hold it.
When
Wait a minute.
MySpace was popular?
You have to get your VHS. Go put Mark still. I guess his VHS still works. My VHS, I got rid of a long time ago.
It works really good. Okay?
It's a push button.
But hold it.
Hey,
This
Billy,
is a
is this
misnomer
how he
out
calls
here.
you? Does he call you on one of these?
He does. Yeah,
No,
he's got the other one, the old one.
Hold it. Real talk. You act like you're surprised about the first round picks that you guys have. You haven't had a great first round pick since Lane Johnson in 2013.
Bullshit.
No, let's go through them. Marcus Smith. Okay, hold on. Marcus Smith in 2014. Aguilar, 2015. Carson Wentz. Derek Barnett. David. Okay, you know how much you hate Derek Barnett. Andre Dillard. Jalen Reagor. Now, Devontae Smith, that's a good one. Jordan Davis. Are you really saying Jordan Davis is still a good first-round pick?
I don't know. He shows flashes.
Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith.
Jalen Carter, yeah.
Jalen Carter, I'm not giving up on. I'm not giving up on
Jalen Carter's a stud. And listen, me personally, I wanted Jordan Davis. I wanted him. So
I did too.
You know,
I
wanted
too.
Jordan Davis.
Body of work
I wanted
everything else.
I wanted Davis. I wanted Carter. Nolan Smith, I was like, all right, whatever. We're taking him that position, fine. But I mean, I wanted those guys. But at the end of the day, I'm not the GM, so I don't have to be held responsible. The GM does. And if these guys, I'm not saying, look, it's early. Maybe it'll pan out. Maybe a different scheme would help out. But right now, we need to get production from our picks. So Howie's got to be, he's got to be held accountable too to some of these moves. To me, the Bryce Huff signing is the one that's unforgivable.
It's a disaster.
That's the unforgivable one because you traded Reddick. What's that? Yeah, I mean, that's the Reddick thing is a disaster. I never liked that trade from the beginning.
Hey, Philly, when did he take over for Chip back again as GM? Do you remember what year that was?
I want to say 2000. I think 2014, 2013.
14 or 15, I think.
14 or 15. Let's do what Mark just did.
I can tell you which picks were his and what were Chip's.
Marcus Smith. Howie.
That's the Howie.
Nelson Aguilar.
Chip.
2016, Carson Wentz.
That's a Howie. That was Howie. And listen, I'm sorry, but I know he's not on our team anymore. But we don't win a Super Bowl without him. We have 0 Super Bowls.
I agree with you. You don't win home field. You don't win home field advantage without Carson.
So
Wentz.
I can't say that's a bad pick. And if you look at what Howie did to get that pick was absolutely amazing. And that's where he's strong at, making trades and deals.
Well, let me go here.
I'll give you that.
2017, Derek Barnett.
That would be Howie.
2019, Andre Dillard.
Howie.
2020, Jalen Reagor.
Howie.
2021, Devontae Smith.
Howie.
2022, Jordan Davis.
Howie.
And Jalen Carter in 23 and Quinyon Mitchell in 24. Okay.
All Howie. Howie's had
so since control. 2014, not counting Carter and Mitchell, you would have to say, and I'm talking only first round because Jalen was in the second. There's been some other guys here.
Don't forget Devontae Smith too.
And Devontae Smith. So really the only guy that's been successful since he's taken over has been Devontae Smith since 2014. Is that fair?
Yeah, I guess it's fair.
Nolan Smith too. Nolan Smith too.
But I would say that, I still think that you got to let Jordan Davis play out this year. And I still think Quinyon Mitchell is out there playing. He looks good right now.
He does.
And Jalen Carter, we know what kind of talent he has. So they're not all complete misses, but I think there has to be a conversation about getting somebody to help with the talent evaluation, one way or the other.
Well, here's what I would say to Mark now. I mean, on the other side of that, Mark, as sometimes you guys are saying what kind of great players you have, at the end of the day, I think you overvalue your players. Some of them are good, but they're not. Look at CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, $36 million. I'm not paying him. I'm trading him.
Here's the thing. If the Cowboys front office and the Eagles front office were to merge, if we were able to get Howie's moves that he makes with the Cowboys drafting,
and the way he handles the cap,
yeah, nobody would ever be able to compete with us. Because the thing you have to look at with the Cowboys is they do find players. Okay, when you start thinking about all the players that we have to end up paying, is because they're guys we drafted. Nobody hits on first rounds better than the Cowboys. Second round, well, not so much. But that's our problem, is they believe so much in their drafting that they don't go out and get anybody else. It's malpractice not to have gone out and at least talked to Derrick Henry. They wouldn't even pick up the phone.
It is. Listen, guys, I got to wrap this thing up here, but I want to get your final takes here now, and I'm going to start with you, Mark. Moving forward, you still see a winning season. You see 10-7. You see them competing, because here's where I'll say this about the NFC. I don't really see a world beater in the NFC this year. So I think that favors a lot of teams right now that, like you said, there's a ton of teams that are going 2-2. Shit, I think certain teams that are 1-3 will still have an opportunity to get into the postseason, especially on the NFC side. So you still think your team is a playoff team, and these next couple of weeks you're going to be without Lawrence and you're going to be without Parsons. Do they have to survive this without those two if they're going to be a contender? And also this, do you think that expedites potentially Devontae Adams now that you have to get another body in there because those two players are out?
If I were the GM, I would think that it would. But we're talking about Jerry Jones, who says we're all in and then tells you we can't afford Derrick Henry. I think that they can't afford not to make a move, either with him or Amari Cooper. They're going to need to get some extra help in there. We're going to literally need to outscore everybody because we are beat up really bad on the defense. I still look at it and say we've got a tough road to hoe the next 4 weeks or so. If we can find a way to go 500 during that period, it gets easier going down the stretch. Now for the Eagles, you actually have a cake schedule the next month when you come back from there. That's where you guys could actually get healthy. I'm not looking for it. I'm hoping that you continue to implode. But I could see you guys easily being 6-2 at the midway part. Yeah, and I could literally see us being 3-5.
Yeah,
and that's the reality of it, because we've got a lot of tough games without players.
Do you echo that?
Yeah, I think we could win 11 to 12 games still. I still think it's possible, but you got to fix some of the things, that have hurt you. This team should be 3-1 right now in the bye week, right? But the coaching has been a problem, I think, in the last 2 games. So they got to figure some things out and they got to get healthy. But the next 4 games are all winnable games. But they just got to get going. I think the number one thing that they could do right now is to give complete control without question to Kellen Moore. Give him complete control. Because
oh my God. Please do.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do. Oh yeah, like Nick Sirianni's some genius. Let's give him control. I don't think so. Yeah, that's what I would do. And if they can do that, I think they could go on a run. Obviously, Mark's
Philly's pissed off. Philly's pissed off. You're just, I don't know where you are right now,
bro.
It's loser mentality. He's used to losing. That's it. That's what happens after 30 years.
You guys have literally taken me to a Diddy party without the baby oil.
I have not taken you to a Diddy party.
No, you guys.
I have not taken you to a Diddy party.
All season, man. You've been bending me over and
guys
giving me
dropping a Diddy reference.
Enjoy just a scintilla of enjoyment of seeing you guys suffer.
Yeah, a Diddy reference from Mark Holmes. Who would have thought that? I can promise you, honey, the only person that's had baby oil rubbed on her back is a Cowboy fan. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Guys.
you give it 1 week. Mark's going to call. I don't know if I should be wearing a bag over my head. Give it 1 week.
I'm
1
seriously. I was ready to wear a bag last week.
Yeah. And then they
all
beat the
things
Giants. I mean,
turned
they looked so bad against the Giants. It's not even funny.
They did.
If the
terrible.
Giants had any,
bro, it
if
was a short
Giants
week.
had any semblance of a run game, they would have won.
Yeah, if they had
That
Barkley,
was-
But
Barkley,
yet we're
they had
Barkley,
praising
they win the game.
Washington, who barely escaped beating them, though, right?
Washington's getting better though. That
Yeah.
kid
But wait a
is
minute.
going to
But
be
Washington the week before barely beat them.
that kid. Yeah, but they're getting better every week.
Yeah, but they're getting better with a rookie quarterback.
That kid is good. I'm sorry. I think
He's
Washington's
the best
making a
quarterback right now in the division.
They're the toughest opponents for the Eagles right now. It's not Dallas. It's Washington.
Oh, we own that Philly ass.
No, you don't. You have nothing. This guy really is nuts. Sills, you gotta be nuts because
People
who
hit
the
the
hell
like button and
loses
don't forget
every
about
year in the
that.
first round of the playoffs, and this guy don't care. It just keeps doing the same stupid thing. It's like Groundhog Day with Mark Holmes. I just can't believe it. You've had the same quarterback for 9 years, and he can't get out of the first round of the playoffs, and you're happy about it. Like, how can you be happy about that? That would drive. I lose 1 week, I lose my mind. He loses every year in the playoffs. He was looking for Super Bowl tickets before that game versus Green Bay. He was searching.
Hey, Philly, what
Philly,
day is
it's
it?
October 2nd, Wednesday. Just to keep you on.
Shit, I was supposed to be somewhere an hour ago. Damn.
Hey, Mark, thanks a lot, dude. You took your victory lap with me. Any last parting words?
Oh, next week it's a week-to-week league, so I'll probably be crying next week.
Don't
after we play the Steelers.
Don't lose. You're not going to want to come on here next week if you lose.
Hey, Philly, any party shots?
Yeah, Dallas still stinks.
And Eagles still swallow.
You would know. You would know.
There we go, man.
Hey,
guys, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
spending so much time. You guys were great,
you guys.
man.
Bye.
Holy cow, man. One guy was pissed off. The other guy was relishing in the pain of Philly 500, man. You see, Mark is drinking scotch and soda, and he's going, you see that dude, man? Holy shit. We're going to take a timeout. Holy cow. Mark Holmes, you know what he did too? He texted me this morning with just laughing out loud emojis like this. He was so... And you know what? For the first time, I felt like Mark Holmes on the show. I had nothing to say. I had nothing to say. Make sure you check his show out with BetUS as well. Philly 500s with BetUS, with us with BetUS. Hit the like button. Xander Krause around the corner. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Rick Sills, hit the like button. Here we are. Eagle fans. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Where are you? Oh, man. Where are you? Abe, acceptance. Stages of grief. Yes. 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 Top of the fucking building, ready to jump. Duke says, well, that would mean depression. Denial. Where are thou? Anger. Oh, man. Unbelievable, man. Gardner Johnson being called out by Vic Fangio. Hey, are you going to fucking tackle and read a playbook or not? Okay. All right. Hey, we're going to do a little bit here on buy or sell before Xander comes on. Are you buying these teams or are you selling these teams? Acceptance. Let's do the AFC first. I'm buying the Bills. Fucking crazy. Josh Allen. Second best quarterback in pro football. And it ain't close. The Jets. Big Sills is buying. I think they'll make the playoffs. Chiefs. I'm buying. Chargers. I'm buying. Steelers. I'm selling. Ravens. I'm buying. The Bengals at 1-3. I'm buying. The Texans, I'm buying. The Colts, I'm selling. Now the NFC. The Commanders, I am buying. The Cowboys, selling. The Eagles, I'm buying still. A little bit. Seahawks, buying. Niners, buying. Cardinals, selling. Rams, selling. Vikings, buying. Lions, buying. Packers, buying. Buccaneers, buying. Atlanta, buying. And New Orleans. Actually, I think if you look at this, the NFC is a tad bit more competitive than where the AFC is right now. Pretty crazy. I got 13 teams that I'm buying over on the NFC side. I only have 9 teams over on the AFC side. All right. I want to get back before we get Xander right, because I'm going to ask Xander this question here. I'm going to post this on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. Okay? And if you guys aren't following me, please do. I'll follow you back. Okay? Hit the like button, by the way. I'd like to get to 300 by the top of the hour. Guys have been really great, and I thank you guys. We picked Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, Lions. Bobby Slowick, Texans OC, to replace Nick Sirianni. Joe Brady, Buffalo Bills OC. Todd Monken, Baltimore. And John Gruden. Those are my 5 coaches. Which one of those coaches would be more likely hired by Jeffrey Lurie? Would he consider hiring John Gruden? He's the best coach of all these guys. Gruden's the best coach of all of these men here. By the way, John Gruden helped Jay Gruden put that coaching staff together in Washington that had Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, and all the coaches that you see around the league now that people revere. They all came out of Washington. Sean McVay. Get this. So here, get this here. John Gruden helped Jay Gruden get Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur in Washington, and Raheem Morris, and built a coaching staff in Washington with those men helping Jay and McDaniels, who was on that coaching staff. And he says, no fucking way. Well, what have your coaches built? What have your coaches done? What, seriously, who the fuck did they hire? Wasn't Shanahan. It was Jay Gruden. Here. Mike Shanahan. Bullshit. Mike Shanahan. Here. Important trees. Jay Gruden. Here's his coaches that he had. Yeah, right here. Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, all under Jay. Here. And it was because of John. Came from Holmgren. Jed Fish, Joe Barry, Matt LaFleur, Brandon Staley, Wes Phillips. You have no idea what you're talking about. Tomlin was under Gruden. How you doing? I felt shitty bringing on Mark Holmes. He's just taking victory laps and getting drunk on my show. That's all he was doing, was just getting fucking hammered at the expense of Philly 500. I thought he was going to kill himself. I mean, it was just, oh, good grief. Okay, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Let's bring in our friend, the host and the co-host of Birds 365 and the pre- and post-game show, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What up, Big Sills?
What about that mess, man? We had to hear that guy talking his bullshit a little bit about the
Hey,
Cowboys.
man, we deserve it, man. I see everybody, they don't want to hear it, and I get it. They don't want to hear Mark Holmes, but our football team played like shit. They played like shit. And Mark Holmes felt the need to come in here and bring it. And I can't knock him for it, because this team, the way we talk about them and the way that they're presented and the way that they spend money on the contracts and everything, this team got to play better, man. And, we got to take that one from Mark this week, the beating, and hopefully we can get back at him next week. I got to say that I love Mark Holmes. I love both of them. I love Philly 500, obviously, too. But Mark Holmes cracks me up, man. I watch his channel sometimes. He's a classic dude, very funny. And look, he earned the right. We got beat by the Bucks. Actually, we didn't get beat by the Bucks. We got murdered by the Bucks. It was 24-0 in like the first quarter, Sills. Mark Holmes earned the right today.
I'll help you out here. John Gruden was the consultant to Bruce Allen when they hired those coaches, and John Gruden was also the consultant on those coaching hires for Mike Shanahan. Shanahan didn't hire those guys. Bruce Allen and John Gruden and those guys, that they offered the job to John Gruden first. Thanks for having me on. Hey, Philly, thank you, brother.
Philly, great work, man. You're the best.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you out of the gate here. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, Lions. It's time to get this guy out of here.
Yeah, I'm out. You're not wrong.
Bobby Slowick, Texans, OC. Joe Brady, Buffalo, OC. Todd Monken, Baltimore, OC. John Gruden. Who do you like to replace Nick Sirianni?
I'll tell you one that jumps off at me is
who
Todd
would the
Monken.
Eagles be more likely to hire?
Right.
Philly,
Well, I'll
Philly,
tell you
by the
who I
way-
like, and I'll tell you why I like him.
Philly said
I like
Ben.
Todd Monken because, and Ben Johnson's that's going to be my second choice. I like Todd Monken because Todd Monken is working with a dual threat quarterback. I like Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson's working with Jared Goff, who's a pocket passer. I like Joe Brady, who's working with Josh Allen. Okay, come on, Eagle Nation. We don't have Josh Allen here. So that's what I like about Todd Monken. Now, Hurts still has a different skill set than Lamar, but I do think that comp is good. And that's what I would say about Ben. Doesn't mean Ben isn't a good offensive mind, but didn't he come off a little pretentious to you?
Yeah.
Last year, Sills, when he
was offered the commander's job, and then when they put the money up, he wanted $17 million, and when they didn't give him $17 million, he said, "I'm out."
All right, dude, you haven't done that much in the league. You had one good year of offense in Detroit. Like, you're not the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
he did get golf 53 annually.
Well, he did. But to answer your point, which one will be the biggest the biggest puppet. That's your answer as to who the Eagles would hire. So John Gruden, cross him off the list. Bill Belichick, cross him off the list.
Mike Vrabel off the list.
Mike Vrabel off the list. Ben Johnson, you can control Ben. You can control Todd Monken probably. All the other dudes you can control.
Would they make a run at Shane Steichen?
How? He's already a head coach.
I know. Would they make you can make runs at people. I mean, God knows what the pill.
I thought you couldn't.
You could. You can trade him. John Gruden was traded from the Raiders to the Bucs.
Sean Payton was also traded.
Sean
That's right.
Payton, they had to give draft choices up to New Orleans,
right,
for compensation for him because he still had 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah, it's fair. I will say this doesn't look like it's going to result in Nick Sirianni. I know this is hypothetical, but it doesn't look like this dude's going to keep his job. He was already on the hot seat last year. We weren't sure if he was going to be back for this year. And this team, they haven't looked ready to play. And that's on the coaching. Do you think he lost the locker room?
I'm not sure he ever had it.
No, he had it after the Super Bowl.
How do you know that?
Because you don't get to a Super Bowl in a team sport with grown.
No one knows. But Xander, you know why? When people go like this, well, he had it when they were winning.
Well, no,
so things were going well. Everything was great.
I'll tell you who had his back. The leaders who are no longer here had his back that year. Fletcher Cox stood in Nick Sirianni's corner. Jason Kelsey stood in his corner. Brandon Graham. Those dudes are all gone now.
Yeah,
so
but
now
where were those leaders when you were 1-7?
Well, I'm not saying that they don't have any fault. I'm saying in that year when you have four dudes who you look at as the leaders of the football team and they're all bought in, it's easier for you to buy in. Right now, you removed the chain of command a little bit, and now you have young players like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter who have to buy right into the coach, and I don't know if they're doing that anymore.
I want to do something here. I didn't get a chance to do it because we got to two guys on here, but I want to go. We're now in the first quarter poll of the season, and I want to get your thoughts on this, and we'll go back and forth here a little bit. Let me start with the Eagle defense, and I'm going to give you my first month, my evaluation of these players and the starters here. Milton Williams, what do you make of his year so far?
Meh, he's in a contract year. I thought he would come out swinging. Huh?
See?
Yeah, passing. Definitely passing, but I thought with the two dudes next to him, with the potential of more five-man fronts, which you saw in a couple weeks, you didn't see him much last week, but I thought he would jump off the page a little bit this year. I thought he'd go for that big contract. Part of me thinks the reason he's not extended is because he wanted to bet on himself. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that, but C. Yeah, C-. I like MG2 says C-.
Jordan Davis, nose tackle.
D+.
C-, D+.
D+. I'm not even giving him a C.
Wow.
He's closer to a fail than he is to a pass.
Wow.
Sills, he's not even – Sills, last game.
I'm not saying
and I was hard on Jalen Carter last game. If you watch the tape, though, Jalen Carter was doubled a lot. Jordan Davis isn't even beating dudes one-on-one anymore.
I know, man. He's single covered.
This dude's supposed to be a force, He's supposed to eat two blockers. That's part of his job description. You know that. You're a former defensive tackle on a 1987 national championship football team.
Get it.
He doesn't do that at all. He's and we're in year 3 with him. So this is technically a contract. Not technically, but after 3 years, you normally get that extension or pick up the 5th-year option. I don't even know if they're going to do either. Howie's not a 5th-year option type of guy. He's an extension guy like he just did with Devontae Smith. I don't see it. Philly, do you see it? Is Jordan Davis are they going to do anything with, or are they going to let him play out his 4th year here and let him walk?
They may pick
or maybe they'll try and trade him.
No, maybe, but if they're going to go either 5th-year option or trade him.
They're not going to pick up the 5th-year option. It's going to be $20 million.
Then they'll trade him. They won't get value for him.
What would his 5th year? $20 million?
18.5.
Somewhere in that range, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They're not giving them that.
18.5 it would be. Somewhere 18, maybe 20. It might.
Yeah, and the reason Howie doesn't like them is because you can't maneuver them like he normally does.
No,
for
because
cap
they're
relief.
guaranteed.
Exactly. You can't maneuver them. So Howie's not going to do that.
You think he's been a bust?
I mean, it depends how you quantify a bust. I mean, I don't think he's been like Bryce Hall. But no, I mean, I think he's been a letdown for the 13th overall draft. I mean, we drafted 2 defensive tackles. Look, Jalen Carter is great. Everybody can tell us, we can talk about how great the guy is.
What would you give him?
Show up consistently.
What would
He
you give
show
him?
up. One day he wakes up, he's like, I'm gonna come to play today. The other day he shows up, he's like, I'm taking the day off. I'll collect my check on Tuesday. I need a break. That's not a dude you can build a defense on.
What would you give Jalen Carter
this year?
Yeah, right now, right so far this year, yes.
C+. He had the one good game. He had the one good game record type of game. Last game, I don't want to dock him too much because he was doubled a lot. Yeah, C+.
We all know Nick had to go. Keeping him was
keeping him to set us back. Yeah, well, they're going to keep him at least through the season here. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I thought Angelo brought up a good point. If they lost that New Orleans game and he went into by 1-3, now I will say, I don't see that. Even if that happened, this owner would. I don't
1-3 with a $200 million payroll.
You're talking about week 4, though, Sileo.
I'm talking about 1-3.
I'll tell you what the answer to that.
Most people thought you would be 4-0.
The answer to that, well, that's true. The answer to that would be, though, it depends what they think of Kellen and Vic, because I know for a fact Jeffrey Lurie didn't shell out $175 million on this offense to throw in the towel in week 4. So if they felt like Kellen Moore would have been a good, interim head coach to try and salvage the season, maybe they would have thought about it. I'm not sure if they view those guys like that. Vic Fangio sucked as a head coach too. So I'm not sure if he's right now he sucks as a defensive coordinator too. So shit. Is he overrated, dude? By the way, everybody talks about in 40 years and all. Well, the numbers aren't really that great.
You knew what you hired. Why do people keep doing that?
Well, he doesn't
He's been in the league 45 years. You know what he is. You don't have the players for him.
And he's never won. He's never won.
He's not right. He's always been in like the top 10 to 15, 5.
Well, we talked about this on Birds 365 this morning. We won the Super Bowl with Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz was a completely different style of defensive coordinator.
Jim Schwartz was the NFL Coach of the Year assistant last year in the league, by the way, too.
Right. Well, he's playing. He's coaching still tremendously. I want a whole new style of defense, here, and all Philly does, because it's, you brought it up the other day when I came on the show, the gangrene and all the other defenses we've had in this city. Brian Dawkins. It just doesn't fit our city, and they've fallen so in love with it. This is now 4 straight coordinators that we've had that run it.
Xander, the Philadelphia Eagles, the brand and the face of your franchise is Reggie White and Bednarik. It's not an offensive guy.
And B-Dawk.
And Brian Dawkins.
Yeah.
Guys like that. You have very few offensive guys where you go, oh, yeah, remember him? He was.
Yeah.
It's Bednarik and Reggie and Brian Dawkins.
We got to get the cat out of the bag, though, in this interview.
What do you mean?
Are we beating around the bush on the problems of the football team?
No. That's the coach, and it's the organization, and it's Howie. And it's
I'm starting to have questions on the root of the issue.
It's
because, and we just had Philly 500 on. I think he's
system.
watching. Yeah, but everyone's like, this is the same offense that Nick Sirianni had, right? With motion or with some motion.
And which are 19th now.
So now it's a third coordinator that we're going to scapegoat and blame it on the coordinator, and Nick being included in that. Are we sure that this isn't the quarterback thing? Why does Kellen Moore, who ran offenses in this league, had 2 number 1 offenses in the NFL? He hasn't been a coordinator that long. To have 2 number 1 offenses is pretty impressive. In Dallas.
With Dak,
who Eagle fans love to shit on. Well, do we have a quarterback problem that's bigger than the coaching problem, and it's making our coaches look a whole lot worse because everybody's tying the coach into anything that happens on offense?
Well, then let me ask you something here. Why are you doing the same thing to Hurts that you did to Wentz?
Explain. Because we are.
Well, they both started out house on fire, and all of a sudden, after they got hurt, changes came through the pipeline. They never put talent around Wentz. They started putting talent around him. Then they wanted to turn him into Patrick Mahomes. Well, fuck, he's not Patrick Mahomes. What that
you're
organization doesn't get.
You're right. I still think the
quarterback
league would have caught up to the RPO though.
Every
And
quarterback.
500 checks in, and he says nobody's going to convince me this isn't Nick. Philly, that's not what I'm saying. It might be Nick, but my point is the quarterback limited to a point where you can't run that different of an offense? Kellen Moore ran pro-style offenses in the past.
He's not as good as you think.
We expected, though, we expected a whole new look from Nick Sirianni. Right now, it's Nick Sirianni with a splash of motion.
Right.
The common denominator, though, is the quarterback. That's the common denominator.
You know, I hated to do this to you guys. I saw this on the writing on the wall 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know you did. We took a lot of crap for it on JAKIB for you saying
it was going to get here. The turnovers were going to catch up. And like you said, so what now? Hey, Philly, so you say it's Nick, okay? Nick was his first coordinator at 2-5. Steichen comes in, does not run a pro-style offense. He is the only coordinator that doesn't run a pro-style offense. Hurts has the most success with it. You turn around and give it to Brian Johnson. Now, all of a sudden, Kellen Moore sucks. So you're telling me in the 4 years starting, this guy's going to have 4 coordinators, and now you're going to be working potentially on a 5th one inside of 5 years starting? Gee, is it the quarterback? No fucking duh.
That's a tough.
And get this.
That's a tough realization as an Eagle fan.
And get this. Go back to the guy who had here. Why don't you just go back to the guy who had the success? You know who it was? It was Shane. You know why? He didn't run a pro-style offense. He ran an RPO offense. Hurts is great at. By the way, they were even coaching that shit out of him now because teams now are caught up with that.
Think about it though. Even if let's just say it was a perfect world and we had Shane Steichen still, I don't believe that offense would work today. You're talking about 3 seasons.
He would be beat up like
seasons ago.
He would be beat up like Vic.
You can't. I think the league would have caught up to that so quick. They were already catching up to it.
Well, who said he was a front line quarterback?
Eagle Nation.
I never did.
Well, you never did. You're not a part of Eagle Nation. I thought he was. So if you go back and watch some highlights from 22, I'm not going to buy for a second that this guy didn't play good football.
He did.
He played. I mean, some of those highlights from the Super Bowl, he had pinpoint accuracy, finding dudes, sticking in the pocket, moving up, rolling out when he needed to.
Well, what happened to that guy?
I don't know. Did the NFL take its toll on him? Did the NFL figure him out? Remember when we got destroyed last year by the
Todd Bowles figured him out.
Huh?
Todd Bowles.
Well, he had him figured out. I mean, he had him figured out years ago. Last year, though, when the 49ers destroyed us, you remember what Nick Bosa said after the game? Yeah. We put out the blueprint now on how to stop Jalen Hurts. He has sucked ever since that point. That's the truth. He has never looked the same since that football game. Maybe he really did put the blueprint out.
Yeah. By the way, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith aren't going to make a difference.
Well, they'll make some difference.
Like last year.
They mask the deficiencies. Right now, you're relying on the quarterback
right
to
now,
elevate.
You're right. What's happening
you said it the other day on the show. He doesn't elevate people. You don't need to elevate A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's one of the best
guys expose his deficiencies not being on the field. That's right. Yale says they will. Well, yeah, where was Jalen last year when they went 1-7 with both those guys on the field? And they had Lane. I mean, you guys are making it sound like this was a one-of game.
Well, you brought that up about the playoff game. Everybody's like, well, AJ missed last year too. Devontae was out there. Lane was out there. And the other thing I would challenge people on is our roster is so good, we've now jaded ourselves. If you gave another quarterback, a competent quarterback, even
Baker Mayfield.
If you gave Dak Prescott, forget Baker, use Dak. If you gave Dak Prescott, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, now last year we didn't have Saquon, but a top 5 O-line, they would cook with that. That's enough for them to cook, and then they would elevate lesser guys. Our lesser dudes, everybody talks about them like they're garbage men because they don't get elevated. You know, who's the dude in San Francisco that just had a massive game with Brock Purdy? Juwan Jennings, was it?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, yeah, well, they have a good wide receiver 3. I'm like, do they? Or did the quarterback elevate him and make him look competent?
Purdy's better.
Jahan Dotson. We sent a 3rd-round pick for Jahan Dotson. The guy looks like he can't play schoolyard football.
He looks like Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, he does. That's a great comp. He really does.
Jahan Dotson is.
See, this is what Big Smooth. Come on, man. You're telling me right now that was oh, he's saying defense. I thought he said bottom 5 offense. I'm like, Big Smooth, come on. Now, bottom 5 defense, that's true. I mean, that's probably the one thing I couldn't disagree with. It's an uphill battle for Hurts when you're talking about how bad our defense has been. I mean, you can't, every quarterback needs a good defense. Brady relied on good defenses. Patrick Mahomes, his recent Super Bowl.
There's no coincidence. Brady had the greatest coordinator of all time on defense.
Yeah, Bill Belichick. Yep, it's a good point.
I mean,
not that Big Smooth. I misread you, but yeah, no, you're right about that.
Belichick is the greatest defensive coach of all time. And
now here's a pushback, though. Ready? Here's a pushback for you, Big. So we got knocked out of the playoffs last year. Our offense had 9 points. 9 points on the board is what we had, and everybody after the season. We blame the defense. Our defense stinks. We need new defensive coordinators. We need to draft more defensive players. We scored 9 points.
No,
dude, you wouldn't beat the Panthers with 9 points on the board. 9 points?
The Bucks couldn't put more than 9 the week before on the Panthers.
And even our 2 wins this year, what do we have? 18 points and 21 points or whatever it was. Now I guess we had a lot. We had more versus the Packers in week 1, but I'm just saying sometimes our offense really lets us down, and they got to do their part as well.
Brandon Graham's play so far this year.
Brandon Graham is tremendous. Brandon Graham is a tremendous person, so I'm very biased to Brandon because he's been very good to me.
I gave him a B.
I know BG's been better than a B. Sills, when you get to 36 years old, and you got young guns that have been drafted for what, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive years.
I have a hard time giving a defense great grades when you're getting murdered.
Yeah, but you can't. Brandon Graham's not here to be the spearhead of the defense. Individually, I would give him at least a B+. Still, he's the best player on the defensive line. He's 36. What is this, year 14 or 15 for B?
I can't believe he's in
and it's not like we put nobody behind.
Hey,
you spent $17 million on an edge rusher. You spent 3 first-round picks on defense. Here it is, and the year is 2024, and it's still Brandon Graham. I mean, the dude deserves credit. I think, by the way, so I think he's going to be back for another year.
Yeah, I do too. I'd bring him back.
I do too. I mean, it's his retirement tour, so that's what everybody's saying.
Maybe he goes out on top because he wants to feel like he played well.
Yeah, maybe.
He might make a Pro Bowl because of his reputation. Believe me, that's how that works in the end. How about Zach Bond?
Yeah.
I gave him a C+.
He's up and down. I mean, I will say this. Yeah. He's been better than what was expected of him.
He's better than what's been advertised.
Jordan Davis, you give a D because you're expecting first-round talent. Zach Bond, you sign off the scrap heap, and you're expecting scrap heap type of play, and he plays competent, so he's earned a better grade. I'd give him like a C+ or a B.
How about pork sausage, Nakobe Dean?
He's really struggled the last couple of weeks. It's funny because week 1, week 2, I'm like, oh, Nakobe might be okay, right? He might be serviceable, and then the last couple of weeks, he's just been completely exposed. So.
Hey, I love Seth now coming around. He used to get on my shit last year about it, and I go, he stinks.
Yeah, and Seth's finally coming around on Jalen Hurts, too. I never saw somebody defend Jalen Hurts more than Seth Joyner did.
Now he
had an excuse for everything.
Now he's not.
I get it. I mean,
now he's not. Finally. He's pausing now on him going, I have major concerns.
Well, yeah, turning the ball. I mean, 27 turnovers in 22 games. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care about the defense. I don't care about wide receivers being injured. That is too many turnovers to be a great quarterback in this league.
Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat's actually been all right. He's been the one dude on the defensive side that's been okay.
I'm all right.
And I think it's kind of gone under the radar because the defense has been so bad. But Josh Sweat, C+ though, because you're right. You can't give guys good grades when the whole defense stinks.
We got these dogs.
We got to talk about Slay. I want to talk about Slay with you too.
More like puppy dogs. The Georgia puppies.
Oh yeah, I tweeted that out today because somebody it was Philly 500. He put up a tweet. He's like, "Will Howie trade for Trayvon Walker?" I'm like, "You're talking another Georgia Bulldog? They're the Georgia puppies until further notice. They're not the Bulldogs." And I put a little hashtag Roll Tide because we got that win last weekend.
There you go.
Thank
Quinyon
you,
Mitchell,
Polska, by the way, for the support, man. Appreciate it very much.
by the way, the super chats have been spectacular
Oh,
today.
they always are, man. JAKIB Nation's been showing now. I can't wait to release all the merch, too. I was showing Sills some of the merch. I got some great stuff. So big shout out to Abe in the chat for all the designs.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyon's been good. I mean, he's a rookie.
I gave him a C+.
Yeah, C+. It's the whole defense is a C+, except for the dudes who are.
But for a rookie, he's doing A stuff. He's a rookie, dude. What the fuck does he know?
He got picked on a little bit last week, but yeah, he's going to get picked on some. I'd give him a C+ or B, somewhere in the area.
Yep. How about Gardner Johnson? I gave him a D.
Let's see. Am I only counting football player, or is it the whole pie in this? Because I can't listen to that dude talk more smack to everybody and then get burnt every single game. I think every single game he's gotten beat. Now, he had like the 2 big tackles, and everybody's like, oh, they were great tackles. I'm like, I don't care. He got burned for a touchdown.
Coach says he doesn't know his playbook and he can't tackle.
I'm sorry. Not every Eagle fan's gonna. I'm out on CJ Gardner Johnson.
Me too.
I'm big time out. The juice is not worth the squeeze with him. And
I'd rather play Cooper DeJean.
While I say that, I'm also upset with Darius Slay. You're wearing a C on your chest. You're going on a podcast, crapping on your own teammate. I mean, you got to understand where you are. You got to read the room. Yeah, now he's apologized. You got to read the room as a leader, knowing CJ's an emotional dude, And I wonder, because it's a bye week right now, so they're not there. Is that lingering? Is there gonna be some sort of beef, in the locker room? Are they going to squash it? But I
want to know the relationship between Gardner Johnson and Vic when Vic says he doesn't know his plays and he can't tackle.
Well, CJ's a grudge kind of guy too.
Oh, absolutely.
He's been very public and vocal about that. So
absolutely. He's a drama queen. You know why? He's a Gator. What the fuck do you want out of him?
He's a Gator.
Hey, how about Blankenship?
Up and down. Everybody, man. It's just up and down. It's up and down, up and down. He was good in week 1 and week 2. I think he was good in. And then 4, he left the game, I think, because he was, too hot. I don't know. That's the new thing, Bake Cells. The heat is a weather game now.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. The field. Okay.
So wait, nobody knows playing football in Florida weather better than Dan Sileo.
Absolutely. I played on every stadium in that state. And and by the way, he's from Florida. He don't fucking know that
that's
he's
right.
Tampa.
All of our defensive dudes, they all played college ball down south.
You played in Athens.
Yeah,
That's
right.
An 8-hour drive from Tampa. You don't know that?
It's hot in Athens. Have you ever been to Athens?
Know that? Yeah.
Athens is
You
cool.
don't know that?
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, just a John McMullen little smack here a little bit. So ask John this. Was it the field in Arizona and the field in Sao Paulo that we have these excuses for the Eagles not showing up with pass rushing? We had tried to give an excuse for the Arizona Super Bowl. Now we gave an excuse for the Sao Paulo. Hoss, I'm with you. Stop that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, man, both teams play on the same shitty field. Get out there and play.
No, you're right. You're right. There's no doubt about it. You're right.
Even you were against that shit there. Slay.
D. No. Yeah. He's been all right on the field, but yeah, I just didn't like what he did this week. I had a real problem with. I had a real issue with it, and everybody's like, who cares about social media? And I get it, but that's the word. Like we talk all the time about modern coaching, right? Because the modern player is a different type of player. It's the same thing with these dudes. CJ Gardner Johnson cares about social perception. Like, I don't even think Slay said anything wrong. And Twiz was saying that in the chat. And I actually agree with Twiz. You're right. I mean, if you're going to talk shit, you got to back it up on the football field. So I didn't think Slay was wrong. It's the perception. It's the way it looks. It's the optics of it. And it's
the timing.
Guy. Yeah, timing too.
Dude, if he comes out of it with a win, you beat the Bucks, no one's talking shit like that.
Well, yeah, and I thought it was just, you're talking about a guy in CJ who's very emotional and very online. He has a little side business of streaming, of Twitch streaming and whatever it is. Like, he cares about the online world. It's the reality in a way. So you got to handle that as a captain, though. He alienated his own player in week 4 of a year when you've been underwhelming. That's dumb. That's not a leader. I have a problem with that.
I'm not going to get to all of them here, but Jalen Hurts is great. I gave him a C-.
You were nice. I think you were a little bit generous there.
Well, the only reason is because he's 2-2.
Sean, that's where I'm going next. I guess I can't go D on Jalen. I mean, he's missed AJ Brown for 3 games.
Yeah, no.
Missed Lane Johnson for 1. All right. Yeah, I like where you're at. C- is good.
Yeah, C-.
But that's not acceptable.
Because
You
what?
know?
The 50 million blinds you.
Does everybody think we're
50
going
million blinds you a little, doesn't it?
Yeah, you think we're going to get a Super Bowl with C- quarterback play? That's not happening.
Well, I've always thought.
Hey, let's go to our man Sean. He's been great today. Sean, big shout out to you.
Hey,
Sean.
I always thought he was a C student.
Yeah,
How about Barkley? I gave him an A.
Barkley's been an A, yeah. Barkley's been an A. Best rusher in the league. Is he still leading? I don't know if he is after last week. I know he averaged like
Derrick Henry's had 2 pretty good weeks.
Oh my gosh. Derrick Henry. So
was he down in Alabama?
Sills, I'll give you your flowers on Derrick Henry too.
Hey, was he down there at Alabama with you?
He was, yeah, he was. I think was he his last year at Bama might have been my first year.
I think he was there. Like, wasn't that?
Nah, he left. Yeah, that's right. He went to the league when I was a freshman. So he was there the year before that. I was there when Jalen took over.
So he was in the room with Mark Ingram then.
Yeah, Mark Ingram. He was young when Mark Ingram was going to the league. Yep,
right.
And then Derrick came up.
And then Najee came after that.
Najee was there with me. Najee came to campus. I met Najee Harris his very first day.
I love him.
On the Alabama campus. He was a great dude. He looked at me. He's got this big smile. He's like, I'm from California, dude. I don't really know like what's going on here. I'm here to play football. I'm like, yeah, I can tell. You're Najee Harris. He's massive. But no, he's a cool dude.
All right, here. So we got to wrap this bad puppy up here, but it's time to replace that coach, dude. I'm with Philly 500 on that.
Yeah,
it's time to get his ass
out.
You
called for it today. You put your foot in the sand on replacing him.
It's time to get him out of here, man. Today. It's time.
Abe, I got one story of Jalen Hurts on campus. I got one story. I saw him on campus. He was walking on I forget. I don't even remember what the big lawn is called. We were walking across, and Jalen was walking across, and somebody was having a football catch on the lawn, and they tossed the football to Jalen. And he took the ball and he just throws a bomb to somebody, and everybody on the lawn went nuts. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool moment.
Hey, is that the lawn where they have all the bricks where all the captains?
They got the big. I don't even remember.
Isn't that where all those players do their walk going into the stadium too?
What's that?
That's where.
That's a little bit up. That's close. It's close, but it's a little bit up the street. Yeah.
Xander, great stuff, my friend. We will catch you tomorrow morning on Birds 365.
Good stuff, Big Sills. Thank you, man. Thanks, everybody in the chat. They were tremendous again today, as always. A lot of super chats. So thanks, all you guys, for all the support.
Absolutely. Thanks, Xander.
We got to hit Sean now because Sean's been big today.
Absolutely. We're going to get it before we get out of here. Analytics. Tell Howie to pass analytics. Tell Howie that's the best defense. He's going to fire his puppet. Got it.
He's right.
Appreciate it, Sean. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, everybody.
Xander, we'll catch you in the morning. Folks, do me a favor on the way out the door. Hit the like button. Doc Walker's going to join us from the Washington Commanders tomorrow. We'll get his take on Jaden Daniels, Brian Johnson, and what he's doing with them. Joe and Xander, thank you very much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you.